In 1949, the Japanese film Stray Dog was a precursor to a whole genre of films that would eventually become mainstream. One of the first movies to really popularize this genre was Beverly Hills Cop, a 1984 film starring Eddie Murphy. A few years later, it was further popularized by the 1987 movie Lethal Weapon. Since then, the genre of buddy cop films is everywhere, with such films as 21 Jump Street, The Other Guys, Let's Be Cops, The Nice Guys, and many, many more. In 2019, David Leitch decided to make a buddy cop movie of his own. After directing many successful movies such as John Wick, Atomic Blonde, and even Deadpool 2, this movie was set up to be great. But would it be? Being the 9th entry in the franchise and a spin-off, were people getting burnt out on these movies? Even though it stars an epic cast of A-list celebrities, the movie would go on to get mixed reviews by critics. But it did decent enough that a sequel is in production currently. Today, the Moist Boys review the buddy cop film, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs Shaw. Welcome to Moist and Monday presents Zortman and White.
That's exactly why I hate working with you. It's your voice. Every time you speak, just imagine this for a second. It's like dragging my balls across shattered glass.
Welcome back to the Moist and the Monday spin-off series.
Two's Moist, Two's Mondays.
Yeah, Two's, whatever. Every time we do these episodes, we never, I think we've mentioned it in one of these series. Sure. But today we're looking at the 9th movie in the franchise, but it's a spin-off.
So we're calling this episode The Moist and the Monday Present.
It's Zortman and White.
Yes.
Instead of Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. So it's the 9th movie in the installment. This movie came out in 2019. Mm-hmm. And from what I read, even though I beg to differ, and we'll get into it, this takes place between 8 and 9. That's what it says. And I don't believe it.
Okay.
They act like it does, and there's some things that they address, like, oh, yeah, that happened in the last movie.
Yeah, we worked together.
But then there's things that are in the storyline that doesn't make sense at all. So...
Because I can only think of one thing that really throws a wrench into that.
There was a big wrench in this movie, too.
Okay.
No, like an actual wrench.
Okay, yeah. Yes, okay.
But let's get into it. So, I watched mine on Blu-ray and DVD. So, I got
watched
trailers.
Mine on Amazon. So, my girlfriend lost $4.
So sponsor us. So the trailer, this one this one didn't. It had like 3 trailers and they weren't for movies.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just like one of those movies, and it's like, that sucks.
What were they for?
So the first one, animated series, Fast and Furious Spy Racers, coming soon to Netflix. And I'll tell you, I know we're gonna do it eventually, guys. We will watch the animated series.
We're gonna take a break before then.
The trailer was so like. New animated series.
Just lackluster.
From producer in the Fast and Furious universe. And then like it shows like the animation style, and I just don't like the animation style. And then it's just like a slow motion car going off a thing and then driving fast. And it's like, and then apparently it's like Dom's cousin. Mm-hmm. That's what it's about.
But it's not the cousin we met on the island that...
It might be, but I think it's like a kid.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a kid's show. So...
Do you know what I was thinking about today? Isn't it weird that Vin Diesel is a way better Fast and Furious name than Dom Toretto? Vin Diesel is like the coolest Fast and the Furious name.
But Dominic, man. His full name's
Vin Diesel.
Yeah, that's true. Toretto, dude. I love Toretto.
I know, but it's Diesel.
That is car, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, good thing he made car movies. Because imagine if he was just sucking on pacifiers the entire time and his last name was Diesel.
That movie, I'm going to say, is better than the Fast and the Furious franchise.
We've mentioned the pacifier in every one of these episodes.
Yeah, it's fucking good.
We probably need to watch that. Maybe we'll just do it for pleasure after we get done watching these. Because I will say the lack of Vin Diesel in this, it showed. Yeah, and I was like disappointed, which is weird because I wouldn't say I'm a Vin Diesel fan.
Old Vinny boy.
So that was the first trailer. The second trailer was a Blu-ray ad.
Just for Blu-ray.
Just for Blu-ray that offers DVD, Blu-ray, and digital code. Like, like that 3-pack. And it's just like, okay. And those commercials, like the production and like the quality of them, they're always terrible.
Mm-hmm. They don't show off good Blu-ray shit.
Yeah, and it's always like you're just promoting the 3 films that are coming out in this era. And most of the clips are from today's movie.
Yeah.
And then the next one was an ad for Universal Studios.
God damn it. That is lame.
Just literally both. Not just one of the parks. Oh. It just said Hollywood and Orlando.
It's Universal
and I will
Studios.
say, It does look cool, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I
love
it was
Universal
showing like the
Studios.
Harry Potter world and like Jurassic Park.
It's pretty
and,
fucking
like,
cool, yeah.
People were wearing costumes and like families were happy, and I was like, damn, that looks really cool, actually.
I wish I had a happy family.
I know. I wish I could go to Universal and pretend to be a wizard, Harry. But now it's movie time.
Hobbs and Shaw, baby.
So my movie offered extended / alternative scenes,
Okay.
but it was extra bonus content. Like there was no way to watch it as one,
Oh.
which is fucking dumb. So
Did you watch it after? Or?
It started playing afterwards, and I didn't finish them, and I have notes on that because it was dumb. But like one of the movies I watched earlier in this franchise was the extended cut, and you could just watch the extended cut.
Yeah.
If you're gonna
usually
offer
how it works. Yeah.
Like the menus were very bland. Like I feel like this, without having the lack of trailers and everything, like it was just, I don't know. I feel like this movie didn't do as well, but I feel like it did do well. I don't know. But movie time, let's go. Freaking starts off slow.
With Time in a Bottle by
Like a-
Youngblood.
Yeah.
Which I liked.
That was Youngblood. Mm-hmm.
So I am a fan of his.
Okay,
And I've heard
I
that song
like-
before,
I
and I
like
remember
Youngblood.
seeing it was from a weird movie. I didn't remember that it was this movie, though, because I've listened to that song before.
I knew. Damn. Okay. Now that I like it more now that it's Youngblood. Because at first I didn't like it because the movie was starting off slow and it was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then it goes action time. And like, dude, there's a chopper that comes in, and I tried looking this up before, and I don't think it's the guy, and we even talked about this. But there's a guy in the chopper that's like talking about the plan. He's like British, and he's like, "Go get him, soldier!" Like all this stuff, and it sounds like the voice from Warzone.
Yeah, like the let's go. Or
Yeah,
what does it even say?
Get to the gulag or something,
yeah.
or something like that. But like we tried looking it up, and apparently there's been multiple voices of people that say that. So it's
Yeah.
the one that's right now, Warzone right now. But he's been doing it for probably a few years, and then it's not him.
No.
So it just sounded like
So I just went nowhere.
it just sounded like a British war guy. But I was like, dude, that would have been a cool thing.
That'd been wild
A
if
cool
that was
poll,
him.
dude.
Yeah.
Win here and you return to the battlefield. Lose and your fight is over.
Touchdown in 2. Rules of engagement. Electric rounds only.
And then there's this random chick doing who at first her acting in this opening scene, like I felt like it was just bad.
See, I liked her immediately because
really?
well, my first note is.
I mean, she's hot.
Well, yeah, but my first note is like when she bites the like flashbang and throws it. I'm like, you can't bite. Why does everybody think you can bite grenade pins off? So doesn't that like destroy your teeth if you do
Because
that?
it's like a metal lever.
And like it's like not easy to pull because you're not supposed to pull them out easy.
I legit have a note about grenades later on,
I'm sure I know the scene.
and I looked it up,
yeah.
and we'll talk about it because I learned some things about grenades.
See, when she starts going though, because my second note is I love this badass military lady. I hope they actually say her name in this film because this franchise has a bad.
I have plenty of notes on that too. Like it took me a while to figure out her name.
See,
They do say it,
Yes.
but I didn't catch it, and then they call her nicknames. So yeah, her name is Hattie.
Yes, and he calls her Hat a lot.
Hat, but I didn't realize it till later in the movie because I kept going, "What's her name?" I kept calling her Spy Lady because that's what The Rock's daughter calls her. Which I have notes on that too.
All right.
I have notes on the entire movie because that's what we're doing today, folks, ladies and gentlemen. So then they do like this whole fucking scene,
Fight scene, it's all electric rounds, which is fine.
which is cool. And then freaking, I loved this slow pan of this guy walking in, like after they secured like this whatever they're trying to secure. Idris Elba, who is so fucking good. Like that's why I was so excited for this movie because he is incredible.
one of the hottest actors alive.
His accent is
terrifying.
Dude, yeah, literally any role. He's in the fucking Office. Any role he
And
plays, he's
fantastic, yeah.
Charles, dude. And everybody's obsessed with him. But I love the slow pan. And I put, God, he's been in here for a minute and I already love him.
No, he was so good.
And then here comes my first quote from this scene.
I bet it's the same one I have.
She looks at him and she goes, "Who the hell are you?" And he
Yep.
goes, "Bad guy."
I
loved it. He
I
just
love
goes,
that.
"Bad guy."
No, that's exactly what I did. Such a badass, simple line. Just and the way he just bad guy.
Yeah, he just like, duh, I'm the bad guy. I'm here to fuck your shit up.
and then his eyes glow.
Dude, yeah, I was like, what?
He's a
I didn't,
cyborg.
yeah, I did not expect the Terminator. I just thought he was gonna be like a terrorist.
yeah.
But no, wait,
this-
what the fuck? He has robotic eyes.
More than that,
Yeah, he's a robot.
and like completely the moment when he palms
Dude,
the
yeah, I wrote down,
bullets.
what a badass. He blocked bullets with his hand.
So cool.
Because he just goes, boink.
Yeah, and like how good is her aim then?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
also,
shoot him in the face.
no, but the fact that she shot like 4 rounds into that small of a target You could have just moved it slightly, and he wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, because bullets move fast.
Yeah, because his outfit is bulletproof, but he's also not wearing anything on his head.
But also remember, he's got stuff in his eyes where he can track it, so he could probably move his hand and and see it. I don't know if he can track bullets, but he can track punches.
Trajectory. So he could probably see like the bullet move or the gun.
So, but he is able to react quickly.
Yeah, but not. I bet he could tell where the gun was pointed and where it would fire.
Just shoot him in the head. I have this with all the movies. Just fucking kill him immediately.
Well, that's every action movie ever. Just kill him.
Yeah, because there's a scene later where you could have easily just killed him.
Yep.
But she's trying to get away in this truck with something that they got, which I don't quite understand. And then she knocks over the truck because she doesn't know how to drive.
Yeah, well, he's punching it, but also like he walks around to shoot her. No one shoots tires in these movies.
He does later on.
Does he? Okay, because I was annoyed that while he's walking past, he doesn't just pop them off.
He does shoot the tire of Shaw later on in a really cool scene.
Okay,
and like it shows like the wheels sparking, but he's still able to drive fine.
Sure, maybe that's why they don't do it because they're all expert drivers.
Yeah, but dude, your car would go
right. Yeah,
I mean, you're driving a sports car. I don't get it. So next, she like goes to inject herself,
which that was because I thought she was just like smacking something, but then like it showed it like going in her.
And I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Did you just put into your body on
something
a whim?
that you stole like in a mission, and now you're just
it's in you.
Yeah. And he's after it.
And like to put it in your hand seems very risky because you need your hand for a lot of stuff.
She seemed fine afterwards.
Yeah, no, she seemed remarkably fine for 3 holes to be shot
after she disappears, this is when I realized Idris Elba has the coolest car or motorcycle in the entire fucking franchise.
It's like Kip.
Dude, he literally, the way it drives itself in and he just gets out, and later on the way it like transforms.
It bends,
dude, it's fucking awesome. I love his bike in this movie. And then he's like talking, because he's like the bad guy, obviously, and he's like, who's gonna stop me? And then it goes into like, obviously the
Hobbs and Shaw,
the protagonists of the movie.
Because I did like their intro, the split screen morning stuff, and see their different lives.
I literally put cut to the start of a buddy cop film.
Yeah.
And then the side by side editing was really cool. And dude.
But I'm still confused by Shaw's just a free man still.
Dude, yeah.
Because he helped once.
Yeah. It's just fucking, that's why I was like, when does this take place?
He's a terrorist, yeah.
And he has full
like
pardon or whatever.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants and travel the world whenever he wants.
Yeah, and I have this note later, so I'll wait to bring it up again. But I have multiple questions about this. But I love in this editing scene when they're eating breakfast and The Rock straight up is eating coffee ground straight and then drinks a dozen eggs, and then the cutscene is like Shaw just drinking coffee and eating an omelet. Yeah. Like it's just like, dude, this is when I noticed. Oh, this movie is not Hobbs. This movie is The Rock.
Yep.
Because then it cuts to him working out at his Iron Paradise gym, which is literally all I see on his Instagram is that same fucking gym.
Oh, really?
I mean, no, it's not the same,
okay,
but like, you know what I mean? It's just fucking heavy chains and pull-up bars, and it's just like, gee, oh man. And I feel like this is legit how The Rock starts his day every day. Probably. And then I put probably the same for Statham.
Yeah,
because like he literally woke up to it next to a hot chick and like had a really nice house and like.
Because this is the first time I thought about, does Hobbs have a wife?
Ooh.
Well, I mean, he doesn't.
He doesn't, because I thought in the next scene we're gonna figure that out, but no, it's just his brother.
Yep. But yeah, that's what I thought too. It's like, oh, we're gonna find out who her mom is. No,
never address it.
No.
So then we cut to back and forth. Obviously, here is London and Los Angeles, but we cut to London first, and of course, one of the first shots we see is a nice pan of a butt. Remember when he's like walking into that
that weird club thing?
Yeah, and it's just like that long pan of a butt. And then I knew it. It's a fast action movie, Fast and Furious, dude. Yep. And he just grabs a whole bottle of champagne. And then we get to Los Angeles, dude. And I literally thought, since they got the phone call, and they were like, where
that they were going to be at the same place.
They're going to be at the same party.
No, just different.
And I was like, what is going on?
Well,
and then
they're still tracking the same thing, though, aren't they?
Well, at this point. Yeah, I don't know
what they were after in this scene, or if this is just them doing their jobs.
Yeah, I don't know either. But
because also I thought The Rock was retired, but I guess not.
Yeah, because
is that the flaw you see? Yeah,
I have notes because at the end of I'll address it right now. At the end of 8, he
goes home.
Mr. Nobody or something like gives him his gun or badge back,
reinstated to
and
the
he goes
RSS.
And he goes, no, Daddy's gonna stay home.
Yep,
he denies it,
and his daughter's not home when we see him home,
and also. Oh, wait till we get there. Yeah, there's a lot of things that don't make sense. So when we cut to The Rock in Los Angeles walking through this place, He does 2 shots at the same time. Did you notice that?
Yeah, just like you don't need to.
What is it? So like, I think they're just trying to show like how different of people they are, because Shaw has like a bottle of champagne,
But
and he's
also
just
that doesn't scream Hobbs to me of drinking on the job.
no. Shaw makes sense because it's like champagne and he's kind of classy and British,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, I don't. Why is he doing 2 shots and then to interrogate
Throw him
somebody?
down, yeah.
I didn't know what he was doing at first, dude.
No, they're to party.
And then they literally go, "Who the hell are you?" And I wrote down both their quotes.
Me too. Well, because I wrote down the first quote because it's horrible, and then I wrote down the second one because like, oh, we're gonna see all 3 and how they answer.
Yeah.
it.
So I'm what you call an ice cold can of whoop ass.
Horrible. Like, why? That it takes me out of the movie so much anytime The Rock has a line, because I probably have like
There's so many
6 different lines.
There's
of
so
his
many
written.
parts in this movie that took me out of the movie because I was just like,
What are we
doing?
Yep.
Yeah, like this movie was enjoyable and fine, but it was these moments like these bad lines and other things that happen where I go,
All right.
well, I'm getting thrown out of it. Like
Yep.
I'm not just enjoying the film.
But
and then Shaw
who
says,
the hell are you? I'm what you might call a champagne problem. Awesome
Yeah,
line.
that's a sweet line.
Fucking cool line.
you should have just. Why do you got to show them both say it? Just show. You're doing the same fucking thing. I get it.
Or do a better line for The Rock.
I'm sure The Rock wrote his own lines. We've talked about The Rock dialogue before, and I don't
I'm
get
always
it.
curious.
I haven't seen any other movies, of his like Los Angeles and like all this stuff. But I feel
Rampage.
like they're all
Jungle Cruise.
like this, where there's just action movies and a terrible dialogue.
Yeah.
And it's just like, is that
You're
his
just in
thing?
for it, yeah.
I don't know, dude. But then it cuts into fight scenes and it's going back and forth. And I do love the way they were doing that.
Yeah, it was and there were good fight scenes. But like it starts with this guy running up on The Rock. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah,
Like,
these guys, like he's at like a tattoo parlor, and these guys
Yeah.
are like really small, and then The Rock is just like this fucking.
And it's like one guy starts the fight and then he just gets destroyed.
Yeah, The Rock just literally picks him up and throws him. He just says, "Fuck you!" And then there's some guy that comes at him with a tattoo gun.
I like the tattoo
Dude.
gun attack.
And
the
he
idea of
drops
that.
it, and it goes into the guy's foot.
Which it wouldn't happen. I mean, like it could it wouldn't go through a shoe.
No, but it like half the gun went into this guy's foot, which doesn't make any sense.
No, because it's like probably like 5 needles.
Yeah. But I was like, whoa, because of the camera did follow it into his foot. And I was like, that's kind of cool.
And then
But,
we get, for the last guy for both of them, instant kick to the nuts.
dude, I
with The
love
Rock.
that, dude. They both do nut shots.
See, I didn't like The Rock doing it, but then Statham made it look good. Like where he was like the guy.
because he like put like the rope around him 1st and then dude, I love the way Statham interrogated the guy.
Yes.
Out the window.
Do you know how The Rock interrogated him? He called him an ass clown. Or no, yeah.
Yeah.
He called him an ass clown.
Yeah, and then he tapes him to a tattoo chair and he's gonna tattoo his face.
And also, The Rock does not dip the tattoo gun in ink.
And he's flirting with the tattoo assistant who's helping him.
Yeah,
and she's flirting back.
So they're going to kill her after The Rock
Oh,
leaves.
for sure, because and he literally goes, "Nice tit or tat." He goes,
Yeah,
"Nice,
nice
tats."
tats, yeah.
But like he's clearly looking at her
Yeah.
boobs, because there's a bunch of tattoos.
And he tattoos what? I heart cops on his forehead.
Yeah, that's what he tattoos on the freaking. Is it like a mob person or something?
I don't know what they were supposed to be.
But I love cops on the forehead. I would have loved it if it was just a penis. Like, why'd you have to put "I love cops"?
Or like, what if it was like Hobbs was here?
Yeah, that one I would have loved that, but nope. I love freaking cops.
Which is like kind of funny with like them being criminals and stuff.
Yeah, I get that. And then we find out at this point that the bad guy's name or bad guy's thing is Edeon. Eteon. Edeon?
I don't remember how to say it.
Edeon. Yeah, I don't really know how to say it, but they're like the criminals. They're the bad guys of this movie.
cult.
That's where Elba works for. That's what I've been calling him. That's what I call him in my notes. Elba.
Oh, elbow.
No, Elba.
Oh, okay.
Idris Elba.
Yeah,
I call him.
they call him elbow.
And then we roll into like the intro credits.
What was his name? Brixton or something?
Brixton? Yeah.
Which like
Which they don't really say that often. I mean, they do occasionally, but
yeah, but like for me, it's Hobbs or no, it's Shaw, The Rock, and Idris Elba. For
yeah, that's
me.
why I was like Shaw, The Rock, Elba.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to say, but that's what I call him. And then we cut to Rock is having breakfast with his daughter,
At a diner.
And this
Why
is-
the fuck is she doing homework at a diner with her? Like,
and then he's going over it like he's like
yeah, like you're doing so good in school. I'm glad you're doing this at a diner with me.
I put. She looks way younger
Does she?
and possibly a different actress.
Did you look up if she is?
I did not.
Okay, I can
But
check
this
real
is when
quick.
but this is when I started questioning the movie. I was like, when does this take place? Because remember in 8 or she seemed a little bit older.
Or at least this age, I would say. Well, because she was in
she said
6,
They
right?
say that she's 9 years old in this movie.
Really?
There's no way she was 9 years old or younger in like the last 2.
When she was playing soccer, and then there's one when he breaks his arm.
Yeah, there's no way. How is she 9?
So what's her name? Sam? Something like that.
I can't quite remember.
Sam, yeah.
Yeah, Sam. I don't think it's the same. She looked way different. She looked way younger.
Yep, not her. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
How is she 9? That's why I don't get it.
But hey, we're still all about family, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. This is when she's like making a family tree.
And it's just 2 leaves and a question mark.
Yeah, and I was like, I totally thought, oh, you're going to bring in the abandoned mom or the dead mom or something.
Yeah, I
Or,
assumed dad.
Yeah, wife or something. But nope. You have a brother? Tell me about him.
Yeah, no, I won't.
He hates me because I
Well, we find out later. Yeah.
abandoned the family
Yeah.
and fucked everything up.
But like, I can't imagine any situation where she's not allowed to know about her mom. Because also, he's been gone for 15 years, so the mom has nothing to do with that if she's 9.
Yeah.
And like, for the dad to have sole custody, you think the mom has to be dead, which means that she would know about her. Because like, why wouldn't you tell a kid about their dead parent?
They've never addressed it.
But
so
like, we
maybe,
saw a family tree and it didn't address
it
it.
was just 2 leaves.
Yeah, that's weird.
Maybe she was adopted. No, but she is Samoan.
She's definitely Samoan.
And she meets
yeah.
the grandma
Yeah.
at the end of the movie. So this is when I put The Rock definitely wrote this because they come in with the food and the waitress goes, cheat day? And he goes, yep, cheat day.
Well, at first she hands him the small meal, which why would you took the order? I'd imagine.
Sometimes they mess it up.
Sure, but also one person got 1 meal, one person got 20 pancakes.
I literally put like fucking pancakes and I paused and counted. So there was 13 pancakes.
Jesus
but
Christ.
it doesn't seem like that much.
They're big ass.
They're like fucking
Flapjacks.
like inch thick.
yeah.
Like they're fucking
And they're
huge.
wide.
And they're sitting on a stack of it looks like strawberries. Like a plate full of strawberries and there's 13 pancakes on top of it.
Which, how are you going to even eat that on one small plate? You'd have to get a secondary plate to move a pancake over at a
Every time.
and then syrup it, because you can't pour syrup on top of that many like, it's not going to disperse correctly.
No,
it's
it's just
not
you
going
can have
work.
to eat them all one separately.
Or yeah, like, because you're not going to cut it like a fucking cake.
I was just like, what
are we doing?
We're this early in the movie, and I was like, what are we doing?
All right, but before the next, what are we doing? Let's go over to Shaw, where
Yeah.
we see him in prison.
Shaw's mom is in prison.
Yeah, I was confused by that too. What did Mama Shaw do? But
exactly,
also,
because mom was in 8, free,
and rich and walking around, fucking around with weird espionage shit
but yet she's in prison.
for 4 years.
And so she calls him Dex, which I loved because his name is Deckard.
But also, can we talk about that Mama Shaw can fucking get it?
And she's like 70 years old. Yeah, she's awesome.
She's
And,
hot as fuck.
Yeah, we looked her up in the last one. I can't remember a movie.
Is it Helen Mirren or Glenn Close?
Helen
Okay.
Mirren. Yeah, Helen Mirren. Yeah, she's awesome. But this is when we see Shaw's family tree, and we realize he has a sister.
Which I kind of, they never said this, or they said this way later, that obviously that girl is a Shaw.
I didn't realize it till he came and was like, "That's my sister."
Really?
Yeah, and I felt like an idiot
Because they showed a flashback of a boy and a girl. Also, where the fuck's his brother?
Yeah, where's the brother?
They talk about like, no, this is a family matter. Like, your brother's as good as you are.
And
Where
he,
the fuck?
yeah, and he's been in. He was the main bad guy in one of the movies, and then he came back and helped you in.
in 8.
Yeah.
So you think he would have also won his freedom because he did very similar amount of work in 8.
I don't get it, but then we get like a flashback of the Keith Moon.
Which is Keith Moon and also like singer?
I think is Keith Moon from the Rolling Stones
Because they didn't Mick Jagger.
Because they didn't. I think Keith Moon is from the Rolling Stones.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, because they did a Mick Jagger but I'm trying to think. Yeah, because they're from the UK
True.
and they grew up in that era.
Keith Moon, drummer for Jesus. Why doesn't it say immediately? The Who.
The Who. Okay.
All right.
Weird. I wonder why they called it that. But
Yeah.
so this is what I wrote down. I'm curious when this movie takes place. Because Shaw is free, and his mom is locked up and has 4 years.
Yeah.
Or 2 with good behavior.
I thought it
so.
was-
She's at the.
I thought it was 8 or 4 with good
No,
behavior.
it was 2. She said, "How much time you got left?" And she goes, "2 with good behavior." And he goes, "Okay, but how much really?" And she goes,
okay.
4.
Okay, I thought it was 4 with good behavior. Okay.
So I was like, okay, if this takes place, which it does apparently, right after 8, where his mom was free.
What did she do?
What'd she do to get that much prison time? But then, and it also sounds like they're going to break her out,
yeah.
which I think they do.
Yeah, at the end. But like also, because I'm also very confused of the family dynamic because his sister gave up on him, but it sounds like the mom still talks to the sister, but the mom has always been a criminal, right?
That's what it seems like, but we don't know her backstory.
But Deckard Shaw and his sister started straight, but also they started as children criminals.
They started as children criminals.
And then they went straight, and then now the sister doesn't like him because he turned bad, supposedly.
Well,
even though
she's a good guy. She was MI6.
so was he, but also they were all criminals to begin with. But like,
And
it
then
sounds
where's
like
the brother?
But also, it sounds like the sister still talks to the mom. So like,
Yeah, because she's like, next time you come here, I hope to see both of you.
yeah,
Where's your other son?
yeah. Where's he at, Mama Shaw?
Just so I don't like. I critique these movies so much.
That's
Because-
just like, they never mentioned the brother, which is weird because there's flashbacks of them as kids, and he takes care of his brother. He almost killed the entire Fast family for his brother.
So like, you literally. This is the 9th installment in the franchise. You have this entire backstory of these bad guys. I mean, kind of. It writes itself. I mean, you
Yeah.
can still do the same plot, but they just address it.
I just mentioned him.
Yeah, just you're acting like he doesn't exist, and that's how they do. Dude, the
Yeah.
continuity. I know it's the 9th one, and I know it's a fucking bullshit movie, but like the continuity, like how is this a Hollywood blockbuster movie that made probably $60 million, but doesn't know
I
how to
bet
follow,
more than that.
but doesn't know how to follow a fucking storyline.
60 million's not a lot for a movie.
I don't. I'm just throwing out a number, dude. I don't fucking like. It's frustrating. But then I'm also like, man, so maybe that shit doesn't matter. Maybe we can just go out and start making bullshit.
We can't.
And people will watch it. We are making bullshit.
No,
We're
so-
doing this right now.
That's true. So it made 60 million the first weekend.
Oh, shit. Yeah. So the opening, that's probably where I got that number from, because I was reading some stats about the opening weekend.
It made 759 million worldwide,
Without any continuity.
and it cost 200 million to make.
Damn.
No, it's not weird that they just give them this.
I feel like with that point when you're like spending all that money, the money doesn't even exist. It just like circles. Like, you know what?
yeah.
Like,
Well, because like, yeah, Universal makes so much, and they're like, all right, well, just make us more. We'll give you, and it's just, yeah.
yeah, what the
Fucking
heck?
weird.
And then we cut back to The Rock with his daughter, and he's finishing off the pancakes, finishing off the plate, and then this is another like thing that threw me out of the movie.
I didn't like this at all.
Lucas Rebecca Hobbs. That's the first line, or one of the first lines this character says.
Oh, that's why he calls him Rebecca. I missed that.
Yeah, because he called, and she's like, "Your middle name's Rebecca," and he's like, "No." Fucking Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool's in this movie.
Playing Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, playing Ryan Reynolds, playing his douchebaggery self, which I like. I'm a fan of Ryan Reynolds. I love Deadpool, and I like all the stuff
But
he's
him
in.
just to pop in, it's
But
weird.
I hate him in this movie.
Because
I hate him in this movie. I read online that he did this as a favor,
I mean, I believe it.
because I think the director of, he like knew from Deadpool 2,
Okay.
he, like the writer, the director of this movie, like, so then they wanted a familiar. But you have The Rock and Statham.
Yeah,
Why
that's
do you
enough.
need? What favor are you
It's
doing?
also the Fast and Furious franchise. It's done its job already.
Yeah, you don't. What favors do you need? It's not like the first one. Yeah, so I like him, just not in this movie. He drove me. Every scene he was in threw me out of this movie.
Because also, what happened during the scene of him and his mom? Was it just purely to introduce the idea of a sister?
Maybe, yeah, but we never understand why she's in prison.
Yeah, like because the reason for Ryan Reynolds to come in was to explain the idea of the snowflake thing.
And to be like, hey, you're gonna have a partner.
Yeah, and then he says, I work alone. When the fuck has he ever worked alone? Like literally the entire franchise has been about groups of people together.
the family.
Or like him and his like he's had a team that he's never worked alone.
And how have they never addressed in this movie the old crew or the old people or like,
Yeah, why-
because Shaw knows them.
And Hobbs has brought them in for this kind of shit before. Why wouldn't he bring them in again?
Or like no mention of it. Literally no one from the original Fast and Furious cast is.
I have a line where I'm like, what the fuck are you saying? It's near the end.
So
but
we
still.
find out that Ryan Reynolds' character is named Locke.
Yeah.
But it's Locke, silent E, hold the E. His name is Locke, and he works for the CIA. And we find out he has the same tribal tattoo as The Rock.
Yep, and that he claims they were best friends, but
The Rock keeps denying it.
which I don't get that dynamic because like, how well do they actually know each other?
Probably not well. I think they just work together. And then Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds, so he's like this I don't know, dude. I don't get it. I don't get his role. He's like a very important person at the CIA, but he's acting like this.
Yeah.
And every time, I don't know. But we find out CT-17 virus, which is weird because Corona-19 came out a few years later.
Oh, sequel.
Yeah. We find out it turns your insides to liquid and kills you within 72 hours, and it will go airborne eventually. Once it gets exposed. I don't quite know.
Which means Hattie's a ticking time bomb already because she just threw it in her fucking hand.
They do address it. So this whole movie takes place in 3 days.
I fucking guess.
Because at the end, they're like, oh, we only got 30 minutes left.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
How did all this happen? I didn't even put that together until right now. How did this all happen in 3 days?
Because they go to London,
Russia,
Ukraine.
Yeah, Ukraine, and then Samoa.
And I think there's another location in there too that I didn't jot down.
The UK.
Yeah.
London, which they're in. Like there's so much shit. So this is another note that took me out of the movie. This is when we find out she's 9 years old, but she's talking about watching Game of Thrones. So then I was like, okay, so this movie has to be somewhat recent. I didn't know that it took place after 8. So like it does make sense with the stuff they're saying.
So,
but still, it doesn't make sense.
I have a note about Game of Thrones for the post-credit scene actually.
Where they ruin it?
Yeah. So
I read an article about that.
We'll talk about this now. So this movie came out 3 months after the finale, and they give away the finale of the biggest television show ever.
Yeah, because Ryan Reynolds is like mad about it, and he goes, I want to talk about it.
Yeah, and like, what the why would you put that in a movie? All right, we'll get to that later. Okay.
See, I've never seen Game of Thrones, so I didn't know. But also, when they were filming this, how did they know the ending?
Yeah. That had been last minute.
Because it takes like years to...
Like a year at least to edit, yeah.
So...
And it took place three months, because
so it was released 3 months before the end of Game of Thrones.
3 months after.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
Because I think this movie came out in like August, and like
2009,
Game of Thrones ended 3 months before that.
Yeah, how did they figure that out? Someone must have told them, and then they were like...
Or they added in at the very end.
And they were just like, let's fuck everybody over.
Or
I don't remember hearing backlash, though, because I know Game of Thrones was very popular. Mm-hmm. I don't remember, but also... But then this movie did do very well.
Yeah.
Apparently. Maybe because I don't follow... Back then, I didn't follow this franchise, so I was like, this doesn't matter. Okay, so I have a quote from the daughter. She said, Dad, are all spies that pretty? And he goes, no. She's unusually attractive.
Which
she is. Yeah. But like the way he said it, I was like,
what the fuck are you saying?
Okay. And then
also, he's worked around the hottest people in the world.
Yeah, literally, that's
his entire posse.
Everybody's
the
hot.
most attractive people.
The Rock's attractive, dude. Yeah. Like everybody is. So
who do you think's more attractive though, Hobbs or Shaw?
Oh man, I love The Rock, especially towards the end when he has it in his Samoa garb.
Yeah.
God, I was like, holy shit.
But Shaw, the broken nose,
Statham, dude,
the weirdly shaped head, I fucking love it.
I think you're just seeing the British people.
Maybe. Also, I love the bald love in this franchise. I've talked about it before.
Well, that's why you got your sleeves rolled up. You're bald, and that's why I got my sleeves rolled up. And
you're balding?
I'm pretending to be bald.
You're working on it.
This is like what we would wear if we were in Hobbs and Shaw. In case you guys are watching this visually. Okay, so, but I have another note that says, that's like, because I'm like, so Rock is still DSS, but didn't rejoin the Force after 8.
I guess.
Yeah. I have a lot of notes throughout it where I'm just like, it doesn't make sense. The timeline doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so we come back to Shaw, and Mr. Nobody knows Shaw and recommended him for this job. So that line right there makes it so it seems like it came after 8.
Yes.
But
I don't. Also, like, they couldn't get Mr. Nobody for this.
Exactly. They just had to. That's the only person they've mentioned then from the other. And they just threw it in that one line. Mr. Shaw recommended you or Mr. Nobody recommended you for this. Why couldn't you just make an appearance, dude? If Fast and Furious presents, why wouldn't people want to be a part of it? Is there like that much beef going on?
I don't know.
Or are they busy making 9 at this time? Is The Rock in 9?
I don't know.
Or is Statham? Maybe Statham and The Rock aren't in it, so they were making their own separate movie.
Maybe.
But I don't think Statham would have had beef.
I don't know, but also like Statham's like kind of still a side character.
True. Yeah, it is weird that he became like a full...
Because he wasn't in 7? No. Was he the main villain in 7?
He was the main villain in 7. His brother was the main villain in 6, I'm pretty sure. because it went back to back Shaws, and we had
Okay.
notes on that. I'm pretty sure it was
we-
one of those.
So
yeah.
we've had 4 Shaw movies in a row.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But then we find out that whenever they find this lady,
Was it 5 and 6?
what?
Which one was Letty evil in, though? That's 5.
No, 5 is the bank vault.
No, because 4 is when Letty's dead, right?
Yeah.
And then she comes back for 5, where she's the villain because of the Shaw.
Oh, yeah. So that'd be 5 and 6. And 7, Furious 7.
Who was the villain of 7?
I don't know, dude.
I literally, because we know who was the villain of 8. It was Charlize Theron.
There's around. I can't say her
I
name.
just said it. Who the fuck was the villain of 7?
I think it was Shaw.
I need to look this up. How do
We
we
just-
not know these movies? We've studied them so much.
Yeah, but remember we took a break?
Yeah, that's
We
true.
took a break in between watching them, and the audience had to take a break from listening to them.
No, because so Shaw was 7 because that's the one where Brian's house blows up. That was definitely
so
Shaw.
that's 7.
So who was 6?
But remember, he's been hinted at it for because they show the Tokyo scene 4 times.
Right? Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. Who
was 6? Because I'm pretty sure it was back to back Shaws. Because we were like, there's another Shaw.
was Shaw 5 and 6?
Really? Now I feel like an idiot because we've been reviewing these movies and giving them
I
ratings, and now
know.
we don't even know the plots of them.
So who was the villain of 5?
I just remember 5 is I remember scenes from movies,
Yeah, me too.
and I wish I had. I took my notes for the earlier movies in my notebook.
5 was Reyes.
Oh yeah, so then it went 6 Shaw, 7
Yeah.
Shaw, 8 is when they
Shaw was a good guy, and both
Shaws are
Shaws, yeah.
So both Shaws are an 8,
Yeah. What the fuck?
and this movie comes out after it, and the brother
Yeah.
doesn't exist, dude.
Jesus
I don't
Christ.
know, but we find out that
At least this franchise post 6 has made memorable villains, even though they're all the same. But up until then, they're not good villains.
yeah, true, because they're robbing just semi truck
Yeah,
drivers. You know
that's
what I
true,
mean?
yeah.
They're not
or just
taking.
weird leaders of countries that I'm unaware, or terrorists.
Welcome to Brazil.
Yep. Okay.
So we find out that this lady, if they catch her, will be granted full immunity, even though she didn't do anything wrong. But they don't know that, but they do know that. So if you're gonna promise, because
also they learned the name of the villain,
Yeah.
and it's not fucking her.
no, but they when they're saying this, they find out. Oh yeah. They know that or they think they know that she killed her entire team. She has the virus, but then they're just gonna offer her free immunity if she gives it back, even though they think
What they do to Shaw? I
don't
He's
fucking know,
one of
dude.
the top terrorists in the world. They'd probably give the fucking Technomancer full immunity if she offered herself up.
I don't, dude. I think people are gonna be like, dude, just enjoy it. It's fun.
I can't.
Yeah. There's just so many things that were throwing me out of this, dude. And they keep addressing the history they have together. That's this part when they're talking about shit, and then now they're bickering at each other. This is when they meet.
I'll say when they roast each other, I do think Hobbs won when he talks about the nutsack and glass. That was better because he said hearing you talk is like dragging my nuts through glass.
Yeah, you like that better than what Shaw said.
Where he said looking at your face is like God puking in my eyes.
And it burns.
I will say,
burns.
I think Hobbs won that interaction.
I just hated it. I liked it when it did it occasionally, but it was the whole fucking movie.
That it was, and
stop.
And the finale was we can work together with the power of friendship. When at the
That's the whole movie.
Also, that was the whole last movie is they finally learned to get along.
Yeah, dude. Okay, that's my note. But they're bickering, and I love it. But
Yeah.
I thought in 8 they became friends and were buddy at the end of
Didn't
8.
they call each other brothers at the end?
Yeah. And this movie takes place after 8, and yet they hate each other again. What?
I think because
What?
I read something about that once they were on screen together, they wanted a movie of them together.
Because they like the chemistry or something.
But the chemistry is them bickering for most of the movie. So they just had to reinstitute.
If you want a bickering couple, bring back the bickering Spanish people and have their spin-off.
Can you imagine if they had a spin?
It's just them at the casino.
Yeah, or it's just
Dude,
them,
that's the spin-off is how they lost their $20 million.
and then how they ended up at the end of 8.
Dude,
I
that
would
would
watch
be-
the fuck out of that.
I would love it. The whole movie's in Spanish, but with subtitles. That'd be fucking
I would watch
awesome,
that.
dude.
I mean, we'd have to.
So I wrote down a quote from when they're bickering.
Yes.
It's The Rock, and he goes, "It's your nasally, prepubescent Harry Potter voice." And I was like, okay. Some of his lines I do like.
I hope some of that was improv.
I don't know, because I feel like, but he has a definite style when he talks. So I feel like he either writes it down and says it, or it's improv. You know what I mean? And then they just agree to disagree, and they're going to solve it separately?
Yep, they just leave.
How is that? What do you mean?
And then Hobbs becomes emotionally abusive to the people working for him.
Yeah,
that guy on the computer, he's just such a dick to him.
He goes, I'm in charge.
Yep. Okay.
I said now.
Yep.
Like, it's like, okay, what the heck? So this is
why wouldn't you bring fucking Tage up for that? Or Ramsey? Like, the best of the... Or fucking God's Eye, which you still have access to, by the fucking way.
Yeah, because you mentioned Mr. Nobody.
Yeah.
Oh.
Use God's Eye.
But that stuff don't exist. Probably because they've used it in 2 movies and they goes, we can't reuse it again.
But we'll use Shaw again as a...
Yeah, I don't get it. Dude. So then I was like, oh, this chick is smart because it shows that she dyes her hair. But then we find out it was just a wig.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn it, dude. And then The Rock gets her immediately.
Yep.
He just shows up and then...
But immediately you're like, oh, they're gonna fuck.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I was here for it. I wanted them to fuck so bad.
It was awesome. And then...
Because she is unusually attractive.
Unusually attractive for a spy. So this is... Shaw, or Dex, that's what I started calling him, because that's his name, Dex.
Yeah.
Is going through like her apartment.
Which
and it
is
was like
badass apartment.
Very cool.
When
like,
you saw
hidden.
the knives on the thing where you're like, oh, someone's going to get stabbed.
Oh, no.
Oh, just the moment I see kitchen knives in an action movie, I'm like, they're going to be.
Yeah, because it's there for a reason.
Yeah.
It's just not... We're in a kitchen. I get it, but it's there for a reason.
Yeah.
But I love how he's sitting down at the computer, and then there's just shadows behind him, and I go, "Oh, he's fucked."
He never is.
He never is, because he's fucking awesome, dude.
I love his fighting style so much.
I love the fight scenes in this movie.
Did you notice how many glass walls were in her apartment?
Why are there glass walls everywhere?
Everywhere. There's 2 different scenes in this movie where people get thrown through several glass walls.
I love it.
And Hobbs and Shaw threw each other through so many at his office.
That's because it makes sight scenes, because things are fucking breaking.
And like you're breaking.
And I feel like glass is cheap to break.
Probably, yeah. It's probably, easier than a fucking wall.
Yeah,
and you can film
away.
around them pretty easily.
So during the fight scene that Deck's in her apartment.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught this, but I'm pretty sure this fucking happened. I'm pretty sure because he has a sawed-off shotgun or a shotgun. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure he breaks the barrel of the shotgun over someone's neck.
Really? I did not notice that.
Yeah, it shows it like he over the back of someone's neck, and then in the next scene, the shotgun is bent.
Jesus.
So I'm just like,
God,
holy fuck, dude!
You paralyze that. Just kill him at this point.
Yeah, but I didn't realize you were that strong. That's a
that's
fucking
fair.
shotgun, dude.
That's fair. 'Cause I just remember him beating the shit out of people with a toaster.
Yeah,
No, so when the guy had the
dude, I
knife
thought he was gonna stab the toaster and get electrocuted
and plug it in.
Yeah, dude.
I wanted that. Can we make an action film where that happens? Someone stabs a toaster and the guy quickly.
That's such an easy. That's had to have been done before, but
I don't know if that's ever, if someone stabs a toaster and then the guy quickly plugs it. That'd be wild.
because he was like fighting with a toaster.
Yeah.
And then I was like, The Rock is losing this fight. Like I was like, because I'm pretty sure we talked about like they have contracts where they can't lose fights. Mm-hmm. But then I was like, oh, was it because she's a girl and he doesn't want to like hurt her, so he's just like letting her win?
But there's a scene where she's got her legs wrapped around his throat, and I was just like, how much would you pay to fall asleep like that every night?
I have notes on that. Dude.
Yeah.
That was fucking hot.
I know. There's 2 things she does where it's just fucking. There's another one where literally she just pulls him into her crotch and has a gun on him.
And I was just like, hello.
Good Lord. But
fucking
then,
strangle me. Yes,
but
please.
Then, do you remember how that scene or how the stranglement ends?
With her brother walking in.
No. Oh, no. Later, yes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about this one where he just one hand picks her
Oh, yes,
up.
dude. I loved it. He literally just... That's my next one. He legit just holds her up with one hand.
And that's how the fight ends. And she's just like, okay.
So then we cut back to Dex, and this is when I had to look up because she had earlier in the movie prepared a booby trap with a grenade, and it had someone got kicked over. So
Oh, the grenade. Yeah.
the grenade. So he puts the pin back in it to stop it.
I think he, it's not the pin. I think he puts the clasp back because the first thing
So
is.
I looked it up, yeah.
Because you pull the pin and then when you release it, the thing flies off.
Yeah, because
And
I
then
didn't know how grenades work, so I was
Okay.
like, "Is that really work?" So I looked it up, and
I think so.
the pin is basically the safety.
Okay. Yes.
So you pull the pin and then the lever.
Okay.
So you can put the pin back in. I looked it up as long as the lever has not been released.
But if the lever's been released, can you bring the lever back in?
I think you might be able to before it starts. Because it releases like the I don't know.
It's because when the lever comes up, it lights a small fuse inside of it. So what he does is he pulls the lever back down to stop it.
Oh, I thought he put the pin back in.
Well, it's spinning, so I'd imagine the lever's out because the moment it gets kicked,
what he did
Probably wouldn't work.
But I was like, is it possible to put the pin back in?
I knew that.
It is if the lever's not pulled. Because I didn't realize the pin was. It makes sense. Pin's just like the safety, obviously.
Because you can pull the pin and then you're ready to throw it. In the moment, because you're holding it specially so the lever's in your grasp. So
then when
the
you
moment
throw
you
it,
let go, the lever
because it's like on a
pops.
spring or something. Oh, okay, that makes sense. And like the safety pin is holding it shut.
Yeah, because I think
that makes sense.
I think when the lever goes, like a small fuse is in. That's like
Because it like lets air in or something. Like,
maybe the lever like releasing sparks it inside. That seems like that.
I don't know. I looked up a diagram of like a grenade cut in half. And I was like, that's kind of cool.
Shrapnel, like it looks like a disco ball.
Yeah, and then there's just like a little thing in the center.
It's
yeah,
weird.
it's like what the like that's a crazy invention.
Yeah.
Who thought of that? And then we cut to Edie on headquarters in the UK, and I put, dude, I love the look of this fucking headquarters.
Who's had the
Edie on
the cult one?
Yeah.
Okay.
The bad guys, because dude, full glass building over a glass of water on a mountain. I was just like the
Yeah, that's pretty
architecture, like it
cool.
was a beautiful freaking thing. Looks gorgeous, and we
How does
find
a
out.
secret thing buy property like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Who owns that?
Yeah, like you have to pay bills on it, right?
I'm guessing the director owns it,
Which we don't even know who that is.
but apparently we might find out.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't.
They hinted a second one,
Yeah.
and I think there's news.
Really?
I don't know. We should look it up after this.
I hated the hint of the second one.
I hated how many fucking extra scenes there were. There was like 4 of them.
Was there?
Maybe it was just on DVD.
I only watched 2 and then I gave up.
There might have been 3 because there was one at the very end.
God damn it. Yeah, I stopped
And
watching.
it was fucking. It's the exact same as the other 2.
Okay,
it's
gotcha.
fucking
Okay, cool.
stupid. So this we find out that Idris Elba is Brixton,
Yes.
and so I was like, "What the fuck, dude? It's some type of robotic shit." Because he's like getting like rebuilt,
Yeah.
and it's like that cuts out human weakness and replaces it with mechanical perfection. That's like a word for word, like that's what he's doing. So what are you cutting out of him that's human weakness, and then replacing with mechanical perfection? Like it's strength, or
Well, we later see. Well, I think it started because he took 3 bullets. We learn, and because we see his spine.
yeah,
later.
which is fucking. He's like
That was
a
metal.
legit robot. So then you find out, oh, he's like his whole brain was his whole face and
Yeah,
like his whole insides is robots probably.
I
But
don't-
then how was he still kind of human?
Yeah, I don't know, and like because he still has full memory. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but then we cut to a lot of cuts in here. And this,
Yep.
remember, guys, 72 hours. This all takes place.
Yeah, he goes back to base so much, like
Yeah.
3 times.
How the fuck? I don't think they realized that she's dead. So we cut to CIA black site in London. And this is when The Rock is interrogating a lady.
And he starts it so inappropriate.
Yeah,
like when
dude.
he's talking about dancing, like, do you know how to, or something about a fucking tango?
Yeah, do you want a tango? And then they're like fucking talking about, and she's like, maybe you should lift or
Curl something.
curl
Yeah, it's
something. But
fucking-
I wrote down a quote. She says, you know, the mind is the strongest muscle in the body.
And then
Maybe you should try exercising that more. And then The Rock pulled out some fucking
quote from, I don't remember.
from like a scholar or
and
something.
not an impressive quote either.
But then he goes, I'm flexing this and
yeah, what
this.
the fuck was that?
And I was just like, what? Why are you? This is an interrogation
and
scene.
she is actively dying. Because
Yeah.
that's my next note is she's actively
Oh,
dying
I
at this
forgot
point,
about
right?
that. Yeah, and they're just wasted. And then he leaves to FaceTime his daughter with her still fucking there.
Yep. And
Why are you FaceTiming your daughter right now?
I did love the CIA guy interaction because he never even gets to talk. Where he's like, if she moves, shoot her.
Yeah,
he's-
and
she's like, you'll go to jail if you shoot me. Shoot her in the face twice. And I love that interaction.
And he's like, what do I do?
Yeah. Well, no, he doesn't speak ever.
Because she goes, are you new? And you find out like that's her thing to like when she's about to do something evil.
Yeah.
She always goes, how long have you worked here?
Yeah.
Which I kind of like. Like
And
it's
then
like a
she
good.
beats the shit out of him with the shit. He should have shot her.
Yeah, fucking brutally
He fucking
killed.
destroys him.
But during that, The Rock is on FaceTime with his daughter, and I do.
We find out who's taking care of her at least, her aunt.
Yeah, but I do.
Also, who the fuck's her aunt? I just thought of that. Who's the aunt?
Yeah, that means he has a sister.
Or it's his ex-wife's sister, dead
didn't-
wife's sister. Who the fuck is
yeah,
that?
I didn't, and that she wasn't on the family
No,
tree.
she wasn't.
What the fuck? Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Oh my god. Guys, come on, do better. But I know I was saying earlier, like all the stuff that it was bringing me out of this movie.
Yeah.
I do like what they did with here, talking about the eyebrow.
Yeah, but that
Because-
did bring you out, but it was funny.
But I was like, okay, because I like pro wrestling.
Where she's like, you did the eyebrow.
You did the
thing.
eyebrow because you thought she was hot, and he goes, "What eyebrow?" And she like does like the fake like,
Yeah, I'm glad.
and then at the very end he goes, "I don't know what you're talking about," but then he goes, he like does the eyebrow, which is what he used to do in wrestling, and I was like, yes, like I love that, even though the rest of the stuff I was shitting on.
Am I doing it? Like,
And you
legitimate-
smell.
No, like, am I?
No, it looks like was your whole name.
I'm legitimately trying to.
What are you doing to your face?
I'm trying to. All right.
Dude, it's not that hard. All right, let's do our side by side, and I'll do a close cut in. So,
All right.
you, let us know in the comments below who does the better eyebrow.
All right, ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go. I'm legitimately trying. Like, because all I can think of to do is to squint this while trying to open this one. Because I can't, like, so my eyebrows are up,
You gotta
right?
bring this one in.
Yeah?
No.
No? God, it
It
can't.
looks like you're like, the sun is too bright. It looks like you're gonna poop your pants.
I'm legit trying. Like, that's the, like, so it'd feel like that.
No, not even close. And you're pushing your head down for some reason, so you have like a
It's like
double
on-
chin.
Where's the rock cooking?
Was there rock cooking?
I feel like someone making that face is how they'd ask it. Can I smell what the rock's cooking?
Can I smell rocks?
Is this cook?
Okay, so back to the movie. He does the eyebrow, and then he's like, "Oh fuck!" She's taking down my man.
He grabs.
He grabs her, and then she fucking crotch shots him,
And-
legs around. He like,
And he's like-
his face is legit in her crotch,
Yeah,
and
and
I
she-
was like, "That's
Just
so hot."
Yeah, like I don't even know what I would do. I would just be. I wouldn't be talking about bullets for breakfast. And he's like, I eat bullets for breakfast. And she's like, and
she goes,
lunch and dinner, or no, he says lunch or
breakfast and lunch, and
And then
she,
she's like, well, it's dinner time. I'm like, what the fuck are we saying?
and I go, "Feed me, mama."
Yeah, and she's like, not what I'd be trying to eat
Because
at this
like
moment.
literally, like
It's right there.
Oh my god, dude! And like literally, when she's on top of him, it is right there.
Yeah.
And then like she's like folding him down. Oh
Ew.
my god, dude, it was so hot, dude. It was like I was
There's
like
another
fucking.
moment where I was like, her and the Rock are definitely gonna fuck.
Oh fuck, dude, it was hot, dude.
But then in walks Brother Shaw.
Brother Shaw, and then I put, why the fuck is Shaw saving her? It was their job to rescue her and like bring her in. And then I go, I should have known better.
I knew it was his
I'm
sister.
an idiot. That's his sister. Duh. And I put that should have seen that from a fucking mile away. I'm an idiot. I should have known. It's the most common thing.
And did you notice something else about this area?
Glass walls.
Yeah, that's my next note. Because
Even the interrogation room is glass walls, but yet they throw a chair against it. They throw people against it. It
I
doesn't
do
break.
love when he throws the chair just to be a dick. He just tosses it.
And the guys like freak out.
And they're like, I'm not going in there. Because I was during the first
Yeah, when they
meetup,
first meet up, dude. And then fucking,
Yeah, just explosion.
and here comes fucking Elba.
Because when I first watched this scene, I just paused it to take a note. But as I paused it, an explosion happened. I was
And
like,
you're
what the
like,
fuck
"Whoa,
happened? Yeah.
Here comes Elba because they're stealing her because she has the fucking vaccine or whatever.
And then the fucking interrogation guy just gets killed.
Does he?
I imagine they took out everyone
Oh,
else
yeah,
besides the 3 people we know.
Yeah, exactly. If you killed everyone else in that building, why wouldn't you just kill?
Yeah.
Just end the movie.
Because, yeah, like just take an extra moment to make sure these guys are dead.
Then your problem solved.
Yeah, and you can just
Later on, they can do it again because their entire team's facing it with guns.
also why can't you just kill her and then just be like, all right, let's get this
Well,
out
that's
of her.
option one.
No, I'm saying Idris.
Yeah. But this is a cool scene because they got cool gadgets. It kind of reminded me of like some Batman shit. I don't know because he like picks her up and runs and
But, like,
jumps out of the building,
And then vip.
and then there was just like a zip line, and then he's just casually running down the side of the building, and I was like, that's fucking awesome.
All right, and then Hobbs and Shaw run to the edge. And then were you thinking what I was thinking?
Yes, aim for the bushes.
bushes.
They didn't look over because he has this fucking pistol on his thing, and all I could hear was "There goes my hero," and then they just
bushes.
splat.
And then fucking they like count down. And I loved this theme though, where the
You
Rock
did?
jumps. Well, you didn't. And then Shaw's just like, nah, I'm gonna take the elevator.
I did like the way like they're still bickering, but here's a note I have. So when the Rock grabs the rope
And then
he
slide-
wraps it around
and
his
then
wrist.
Slides.
Yeah, your hand would be cut off.
Gone. No, because the burn on your palm
You
and
wouldn't
on
be-
your forearm, it would
You
be
wouldn't be able to slide. You would just be
So, because my question was
the entire way down, he has it wrapped around his
well,
wrist.
because my question is, was he sliding or was he grabbing it while while the rope is moving down? Because then he lets go to drop on people.
Oh,
so that's kind of what I was thinking.
Okay, so he's just holding on, but then the distance isn't.
Yeah, so then he let.
Okay,
that's what I
because at first I was like, dude,
because that's what I thought at first too, is that he was like just
it
bare
just
hand,
fucking
like that's not an
rips
option.
through his
Yeah,
fucking wrist. I was like, holy shit, dude. And then fucking Shaw is just taking the elevator that just happens to be at the side of the building.
yeah, a glass elevator that he like breaks, and then so he just drops
And it just, why is there an elevator on the outside of a building?
of the secret building.
I don't get it, dude. And then The Rock
Let's go.
lets go and jumps at the first guy.
Fucking wrecking balls, people. I love that.
I literally said, dude, out loud. I watched it by myself out loud in my apartment. I said, dude, out loud.
See, I like
because
this
he just
moment.
goes, why does he do that in all the movies? He like,
Yeah, barrel chest people. Just,
I didn't like it.
well, because also he
thought it was
swings,
ridiculous.
and you can see him mouth "fuck you," which made me happy.
Yeah, because while
And
he's
then
doing all
Shaw
this
goes
shit,
wanker.
Shaw's just fucking in the elevator. And then so he takes out the first one and then jumps to the second one. Oh my god, dude. Jumping from person to person. And then he jumps on Elba through the glass.
I like that where Elba landed and the rock just poof,
Yeah, on a car. But
more glass.
here is something that doesn't make sense to me.
Yes.
So there's a scene where we see Shaw come down in the elevator.
Yes.
And he lands on the first floor. And he makes it there safe and sound. In the background is where The Rock lands with Idris Elba
Yes.
on top of the car. It's across the street.
Really?
How is the elevator that Shaw was in a block away?
Well, they were rappelling down the building.
They were on the
I
same.
did not notice that.
It fucking drove me nuts. And I
That's
paused
beautiful.
it and rewinded. There's like a legit
Street between them.
There's like a legit street between
He's
them.
across the street.
And you can see them later in the fight in that street.
Weird.
So I literally put, they were in the same plane going on the, how does it, the elevator go forward a street and then land at the same, I was like, what?
I think you'll.
I got so frustrated about that part. And I literally put like this. How does that work? Hollywood. Come on, be better.
I think you'll like my next note. So this is the note when Hobbs throws the first punch at Idris, and we get Idris's view.
Oh, that's cool.
So I wrote down, according to the cyborg, and this was the highest I could see the two numbers go because they fluctuated. The highest I saw was his fist is moving at 13.532 meters per second
Oh yeah, because he's British.
with a force of 1,248 pounds. Which begs the question, why is velocity in metric while the force is in standard US?
Whoa.
Yep, it was in pounds, not like grams or anything. Or yeah, because that's how
Yeah,
they do weight,
yeah.
right? Grams. Yeah, I thought that was really funny.
Busted. Damn, we're ripping this shit apart, dude.
And then when Shaw threw his punch, no, it was the velocity
It's
was.
crazy that you paused because it happened so quick. So I wonder, did you
I
pause at
watched
all of them?
5 times.
No, but every time
Just
it
these
cuts,
two.
okay, because I'm sure that it was they probably built the template, didn't think about it, and then used the same template.
Well, no, because Shaw's punch was a velocity of 18.894, which I like that it was faster because it was a jab while the rock was a hook.
It was a swing, yeah.
Didn't give its force though, which was disappointing for me because I was curious how it would change.
Yeah, the
where
comparison.
Shaw's a much more precise.
It's more quick
yeah.
jab instead of a massive knockout
Just
punch.
yeah, fist coming at you. And then we learned that Shaw and Brixton know each other at this
Well,
point too.
before I figured out they know each other, I wrote down a rock quote.
A rock fact.
A rock quote. The most rocks come from. No, I don't know. So he says this to Idris right before he's about to take him down. This is what the rock goes. Now I take you to school, son.
Yeah.
And then immediately,
Gets his ass kicked.
bam. And I fucking loved it.
Idris's punches were terrifying.
Oh, dude,
though,
he's a
especially later.
As much as I am shitting on this movie, and as much as like it frustrated me, Idris Elba is incredible.
No, so
He is so like he's such a good bad guy.
my next note is I would openly believe that Idris Elba is the future of mankind, where he's like, this is the future. I'm like, yeah, you are. You are
Yeah.
what we all strive to be. You're the ideal human.
And I've heard that isn't he like really nice? Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm pretty sure he's in a Macklemore video.
Yep. And well, no, he's
He's the voice. He's the dance off.
He's also a DJ. I'm pretty sure he raps during the credits of this movie. I need to check in on it.
Oh my God.
There's a chunk that sounds a lot like him. We can watch after.
And what's crazy is he's British, but then he can do a pretty good American voice too. Dude,
you got to watch Luther. He's so fucking good in that.
is that where he's British?
Yeah, he's like a British cop. It's like every season's just like, or I can't remember what they call him there.
I think I've seen
every series is like 3 episodes, but they're like an hour and a half long, and so
I think I watched one episode of my uncle's house, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, yeah, I think
he's one of the best. Yeah,
I always forget about him, dude. But yeah, this is when we find out they know each other, and I said they must have gone to military together.
To military, yes. One of
They must have
those.
been in the military together.
One of those military boys.
And then we find out that Dex had an option to join Etion, or as the people on the streets like to call it, the cult.
Yep.
Because it's a cult. He apparently had the option a long time ago.
And said he shot him 3 times. I wish they would have showed that conversation. He's like, "Hey, just so you know, I have this like kind of new business venture," and just poof, poof, poof. It was just that.
Yeah, what's the thing? He's like, what is it?
2 in the chest, 1 in
2
the
in
head.
the shed, 1 in the head. Remember?
Just
Remember?
Like, but like we never truly learn what happened after he got shot in the head.
Yeah, because
Well, he has the bullet though.
he has the bullet, which I think was cool. Which you didn't. I'm glad I noticed that because they don't really. They kind of say it, but they don't really.
He like holds it and then like gives it to him and then he just kind of tosses
yeah,
it.
and he's like, "Fuck! This bullet means nothing to me. I'm not the one who got shot in the head."
How many times did you pause this movie and then realize there's so much left?
Oh man,
So many fucking times.
I paused this movie so much first because it was throwing me out of it so
Yeah.
much. I was into it while it was happening, but then when I paused it, it took me a while to restart it because I was like, I like paused and made lunch. I paused and took a phone call. I like paused to write notes. Like
Yeah.
this is like the most paused movie.
I had to pause this to take an interview.
I paused and took a shit. Like I paused this movie a lot. I know we've mentioned this in all of the movies, but I want to bring it up again.
Okay.
Why does The Rock have such a big handgun?
It's
you know
just
what?
ridiculous, yeah.
Because Dex pulls his out, and it's just a normal fucking sleek handgun, and then and it's just like Jesus Christ every time.
It's literally like the gun I have.
I know, but it's like I get it. You're a big boy. You need a big gun, but every time I see it, I'm like, that is. I think it's the same gun he's been using the entire series, though.
Like,
So
just a giant
so it does
fucking
make
thing.
sense. So now chase scene. I am like, really. I have a question about this.
Yes.
How do all 3 of them fit in a sports car?
A McLaren, that's fair. Wait,
The
yeah.
Rock is the size of a sports car.
Does a McLaren even have a back seat?
They're all in the front seat.
Oh,
Yeah, she's in the middle. She would have been squished.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to squish. Yeah.
it's like seeing The Rock on the airplane later. Like, it just doesn't work.
Luckily, in this scene, they don't really address it, and they look. I mean, they are tight together, but they don't
Yeah.
look like they're like they should have been like this. You know,
Because
like
my next note is when she tells The Rock time for curls,
dude, yeah,
and he just pushes his arm through a car window.
he
like,
breaks it. Yeah,
No, he doesn't.
Oh,
He just pushes it through.
and it shatters as
Yep.
he does it, and then one hand grabs somebody.
No, so during this car chase, the car chase scene, The Rock easily pushes his arm through a window, grabs a man off of a motorcycle coming towards them, which you can only imagine as the speeds are close to about 150 miles per hour with 2 vehicles coming at each other.
That would like break your hand.
So like he wouldn't have an arm, and then he takes that man and hits him against a stone pillar.
So then your arm would have been.
Yeah, I don't care how big of his arm is, it would not be attached anymore. Like
It was awesome, I'll
Yeah.
say. I did
Yes.
like it. I did like it. This is when we find out that also we already knew it, but his bike, Elba's bike, is awesome.
yes,
Drives on fucking walls, fucking drives on top of
hops
cars.
over shit. It's wild.
Yeah, so then that was the note of maybe some time for some curls. And then,
Do you have the next Rock quote that I've written down?
well, this is when we find out that Dex killed him 8 years ago.
Yes.
Bullet to the brain, and now he's a ghost. And then I'm at the drift scene.
So that's my next note after this. I don't remember why he says this, but The Rock says fresh turkey hell.
Oh, yeah,
What
dude.
the fuck does that mean?
I remember reading that line. I was like,
What? That's not a
this
thing.
is terrible.
Yep, he just says it.
Be better.
No, and then
Be
like,
better. Dude, if you need writers, we'll
do it.
gladly write
Yeah,
for you.
we will work minimum wage and write for this movie.
Please.
I open offer.
Moist boys go fast. We can be
Let us
extras
go fast.
or a writer.
Ooh, give us one line of dialogue that you're like, this isn't great. Just throw it to us.
It's got to be better than what you've been doing.
We promise we will improve.
I'm sure.
One-liners. Give us one-liner, and we will improve
Yeah,
it
we will chop it up
for free.
dude.
Just put us at the the credits somewhere.
There's no way that fucking the audience is happy with this dialogue. There's got to be some people that are like, oh, it's just part of the joke and part of his character.
Because
it can be better.
Yeah, because what you could do is play a drinking game with it. That's the only option I see.
Oh yeah, make it a joke, make it a bit.
Yeah,
and
which
get hammered on it.
But these are not good. They're movies.
They're fine. Some of them are good.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, we came up to the two semi.
Dude, this scene was awesome, and I watched it 4 times.
Because me too. Like I kept because this is why I like. Because the first one's the McLaren flying under. This is why I like these movies.
Because I was like this felt like Fast and the Furious.
It brought me back to Vin Diesel and Letty staring at that semi truck rolling towards them, and she's just like,
it was
"Don't."
Like, here we go. Because she was like, oh, we're in trouble. And he's like, I got it. Fucking slow motion. Since the car is so low, drifts in between 2 semis driving past each other. And then I'm like, oh, fuck. But then we realize this is so fucking badass. Idris Elba's bike
Gets off.
like fucking turns, and he grabs the back of it, so he's like sledding with it, and he goes through, and then like where the tires come together, he like literally boom, and then somehow winds back up and gets on the bike, and dude, I'm just like, holy fuck,
Fucking cyborg.
best scene in the movie. Best scene in the movie.
The shitty thing is, like, Idris is allowed to do that because he's a cyborg. They would have let Vin Diesel do that. Like, they would have let any character.
I know,
Tage would have done that if they had that scene. Like, they would have given that to fucking Ramsey.
It was awesome.
Yes,
dude.
no, I
the
did
way
love it.
like he got through right as the tires fucking, it would have squeezed him to death. Ran over. God, it was fucking awesome. And then this is, I was like, finally a smart bad guy shooting the tires.
Yeah.
This is when Idris is starting to shoot the tires of the fucking of their, because they're in a sports car, which not, and the wheels start sparking.
Okay.
But he's still driving the same speed, and he's still driving straight. But then he shoots the tire when he's like, there's a bus in between, and then he does that quick Yui, and then fucking head-on collision through a bus. He goes, you see how big the hole was?
He just busts through it. Yeah, that made me so happy.
Why?
And then he's pissed.
Aren't there people?
No, there's people on that double decker. Yeah, no, they're dead. It's fine.
Yeah, and then he fucking takes his helmet off and goes, ugh!
Yep. Well, because Idris lost a chase, which means fucking Shaw's better than a cyborg.
Oh, dude. But then they do address that the car's fucked up, and then the next scene you can hear it going, which I do. Okay, they did
It's
finally.
something.
But then I forgot. I was like, dude, he's fucked up. But then I forgot he's mechanical, so he was fine. And then I wrote down his quote: "You want a war, then?"
Yep.
Okay. And then it just.
Who are you talking to, bud? You're better than that.
He's just staring off into the distance. I mean, he's a robot.
Yeah, but there's like victims that he accidentally killed around him. Like,
Yeah, there should be people going, "What the hell is
my child?" And then, because the next thing I remember is them now are hiding out, kind of.
Yeah.
And then we find
I
out
have so many questions about this scene.
with when we see the fucking compound again, and it's like this weird, like, misty cloud of heads at computers, and it turns out they control the media.
They control the media.
Which means they're sending messages to journalists and like newscasters to say this. Like, what? I don't get that.
They control the media.
But like the media is still people, which means that there's an email being sent.
I don't know. Yeah, because the journalists have to read the teleprompters and like.
Yeah, and like have like.
So we find out he's controlling the news outlets and the media, and I was like, "Fuck, that's not good." And then they address the prison scene from 8.
Yeah,
because that's how.
they. Yeah.
So then I was like, "Okay, this movie has to take place after 8." But then here I go.
But
This is where I was like, but wouldn't the actual government, MI6, CIA, DSS know that they are fine? It's just the general public that knows they're criminals.
Yeah, but no. Also, wouldn't the
because
CIA,
if you're controlling the media, that means you're controlling the public. You're not controlling the government.
But also, wouldn't all these institutions like CIA, MI6, all that shit, wouldn't they be aware of these people if they controlled the media? Like, this is like...
Yeah, this is another thing where I got pissed.
Also, something that threw me off. Did you know Hobbs' first name is Luke?
Lucas Hobbs. Is it?
Yeah, that's... Because they put all their... Decker Shaw and Luke Hobbs.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean...
That threw me really off, seeing Luke Hobbs. Like, it's like, what the...
Ryan Reynolds at the beginning says Lucas Rebecca Hobbs.
True, yeah, but it still threw me off to
Where
read
where
it.
it's Luke.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, but I was like so upset. Like, you're wanted by the general public, but like the police and government and everything wouldn't be after you, but yet they are.
Yep. And because this
And
is
I get it. Oh, I get it. You're now wanted terrorists. I get it.
again. Yep.
Same thing, because
It's like, how the fuck did Hobbs get arrested? He was working for the government in the last movie.
Yeah, I get it. You've already done the same fucking thing, and you've already fucking saved the world. He
Probably
does address
gonna
it.
work for your immunity again.
Yeah, but they do address it later. He goes, well, it's like our what, fourth time saving the
Yeah,
world.
which
That's because you've done the max you can do. So why do you keep doing it? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like with these
if
movies.
it never works out, yeah.
I don't
Also,
know,
this is
dude.
the moment where Shaw's like, it's a family matter, and like tells like Hobbs he's not invited, and like this is another time where I was like, you think Shaw would bring in the other Shaw, break his mom out of prison since she's apparently a criminal mastermind. Like, it doesn't fucking make sense.
And
That
then also you think at this point is when they would go, okay, let's set aside our differences and work together because we're wanted together.
Yep.
But
Nope.
no, I have a quote from her from
Yep.
Miss Shaw. I don't have time for your alpha male shit right now. You're both idiots. And then she walks away because she's like, you guys are just going to keep bickering. I'm going to go do it by myself.
you're dying.
Yeah, like, still,
But
how
apparently-
many days has it been? We only had 72.
Apparently, she's at 70 hours at this point. She's fine.
All this has happened in
She's
2
not
hours.
worried.
So I wrote down a note because I was like, I don't think we ever learned her name, but we did. It was Hattie.
Yep.
Hat. But like they didn't. It was. They just. Even with subtitles, it's hard to
They
follow
didn't
sometimes.
obviously say it, except for when he's just calling her Hat and stuff. Like, it's never like, oh, you're Hattie Shaw.
Yeah, but then I do like how later Idris calls her Miss Shaw, and I was
Oh,
like,
I didn't notice
oh,
that.
duh, it makes sense. Her last name is Shaw because his sisters. But then we cut to Edion. When we find out that Idris Elba isn't the top bad guy, he's
Yeah.
like working for the director. And I was like, who the fuck is the director?
See, I didn't give a shit. Because, like, it's a voice talking to Idris. But I'm like, you're not interesting. Idris is interesting. Like,
Yeah, but like, who's running the show then? Is it a computer?
no,
It's
because.
got to be somebody that's a scaredy cat.
I fucking
and he
guess.
literally says he has a history with Hobbs.
But we're probably going to see this guy and he's going to be fucking buff. And it's going to be like, why didn't you just do shit
you know what my thought was?
What?
Cypher.
Ooh.
Charlize Theron.
I could dig that.
Because at the end of 8, she escapes.
Mm-hmm. She jumps out of the plane, right?
And then they address that they have history with Hobbs.
Okay.
That was the only one I could think of because I was like, in all the other movies, you've captured them or they now work for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
But this is where the computer guy's telling him to turn Hobbs.
Yeah,
and
I was
I'm
like, good
that's the dumbest fucking turn Hobbs.
Good fucking luck turning him into.
Because
If
Hobbs
anything,
would
they'll
never
say yes and then
kill
fuck-
you.
Yeah,
become a
fuck you up.
cyborg and then destroy you.
What
yeah.
What a fucking director's a piece of shit. But now we find out that the tech needed to extract the virus is of course at Edion
Yep.
headquarters. Their special specs ops place, which I wrote down the exact location when we get there.
Yeah.
But I was like, of course, it's in the most guarded bad guy facility.
Again, is this when we talk to Locke again? Because I have another note. It's like, why is he so fucking weird?
I guess I don't know. I didn't have any notes on it, but it was probably like I was probably just annoyed with that scene.
And then there's also this scene where The Rock is talking to Sam again. This is where he found out I think
Another
that his
FaceTime, yeah.
aunt is taking care of
Yeah,
her.
why is the news on?
Yeah. And also, when she says I love you, do you remember what The Rock says? I love you back.
I love you back.
Who the fuck says that?
I'm gonna start saying that.
That's not a thing. I love you back.
I love you back.
Ugh.
I'm gonna crack it open another beer.
Where am I at? I'm still at full.
Pseudo Sue, Toppling Goliath, one of my favorite beers. Sponsor us. It'd be awesome.
That would be great.
Toppling Goliath, yeah. I'm sure I shouted my praises for this brewery a lot, especially on my other project. But speaking of that, though, that's why I did correct this, is because we find out that either way, she's gonna die.
Oh, right. Yeah. So now they're talking about what to do.
So then her quote is, well, who needs a drink?
Yeah.
So cheers to that.
Cheers. Who needs a drink?
Who needs a drink? I do, because we're watching this movie.
Yep.
I watched this movie while drinking coffee, so
I was drinking mimosas. It helped.
So you were, you
Yeah.
were like, let's have fun.
Yeah. So because when they were weighing the options, my thought is absolutely kill her. It's gonna go airborne in like 70
I
hours.
know, like the consequences. Even the scientist was like, that would be the most easiest, and they go
Kill her and burn
and they
her.
literally go, nope, not an option. Same with like, what movie was it, 5 or something, where it's like, we're gonna let one person go, and risk the lives of millions.
Right, yeah.
And they go, yeah,
Yep.
family.
Nope.
Like, what the fuck? So this is...
Or the fucking, when they were fucking around with nuclear codes. And no, yeah, that's what it was. So
Yeah.
it was not 5. It was, I think it was 8.
It was... Well, they've done it multiple times.
I
I'm
know.
like, I don't get it. So now we cut to... I should have wrote down the name of the bar. But it's Shaw's base.
Yeah.
It was the Carpenter's something. It was the Carpenter's something. And
I didn't read it. I should have.
And I loved it. Because I thought it was just going to be a normal bar. But no, it's like his headquarters.
Yeah, it's
And,
fancy.
dude, it was awesome. And she's like, do you need a drink, Rock? And he goes, yeah, I'll take a little.
Yeah.
And she fills the whiskey
To the brim.
It's spilling.
He doesn't spill it though when he grabs it. I don't think so.
You can see when she's spilling it, it spills over the
really?
edge. And then he just goes, oh.
And then we don't see him drink it, but we
Nope.
see her with
We
a
see
drink
her-
in the
we see her
background.
with a normal pour of whiskey.
Yeah.
And then this
He's
is
just taking photos of
I
them
get
while they're
angry
talking.
again. I get
Okay.
angry again. They just said it's going to leave the country
Yep.
because everyone's hunting them down. Why? It's just he's controlling the media.
Yeah.
Not who's hunting you down.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And then costumes and different IDs. I love it.
Mike Oxmall.
Mike Oxmall. I put such a dumb joke, but I love it.
Oh, I put it's beautiful.
Yeah, it was great.
I liked it.
But then I was like, oh fuck, he fucked him over on purpose. Like he must have had something pop up in his file. He was like, do not fly or
that
something.
was weird. Well, it was just that he was like a threat, so he had to like be checked, and then he still got on the
and
plane.
then he
No
was still,
problem.
but like also at that point, they're gonna dive into your when they dive deeper into who you are.
Yeah, like how deep did this fake ID go?
Exactly. If you're gonna make a fake ID and be a fake person, you want to get through as fast as possible.
And raise no fight.
But he's like,
But
nope.
also, he didn't want The Rock to come on this mission, is why he did
I
it.
love that The Rock was in the plane because he looked hilarious.
Yeah, because like, does he fit on normal airlines?
Well, I always see The Rock in his own private jet, and he looks great, like in a normal chair like this. But he does look funny in a normal plane seat.
Yep. Because I have a few more notes before we get to the big one, because I want to get through it. Because my next note is
I have a Rock quote.
I'm sure it's the one I have written too.
So I got excited because I put Michael made it.
Yep.
Because he goes
Mike Oxmall.
No, but he goes, it's Michael.
Yeah.
and
He's like a little mustache for some reason.
then he goes, where's my seat? F1.
You have that
F2.
one written.
F you.
And then like she is enamored by that. Like she thinks that's so funny.
Does she? She laughs at it.
Or she like looks at him like sweet. Like it was another note where I said they're gonna fuck. But the note I have is I'm gonna shove my boot so far up your ass you'll be spitting out shoelaces for a week.
Yes, I remember.
Hasn't he said?
He said this about toothbrushes.
Yeah,
fucking teeth, dented. Like
Or you're gonna have to tie your shoes through your mouth. Something like he said.
so
that
many. He said so many lines about kicking something so far up your ass. You'll be doing it. Like that's He said this. So then
My next note is the.
Oh, I'm not there yet.
Okay, cool.
Because we do a quick cutaway to the science guy,
Oh, doing.
and I put holy
Oh
shit.
right, the jump scare.
Yeah, it legit scared me because like it's a legit.
Because he like turns on his car and boom.
And then headlights and Idris Elba's just standing there.
I'm like, God, why can't that happen to me?
Fuck, dude. Yeah, he's hot, dude. And then I put LOL. The Rock is huge in this plane, and this is when they're bickering. And I
They're
put,
gonna like, well, I'm gonna kick your ass at 30,000 feet.
and I literally just put,
What's
let
this?
her climb the mountain if she wants, Shaw.
Yeah.
Because The Rock goes, if she wants, and she's sleeping right there. I bet she's awake. I bet she's listening.
Oh yeah,
because
she's a fucking spy.
exactly. He's like talking about if she wants to, I'd let her climb all over the mountain that is me.
Up and
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's just like, what the fuck? And then I put, what the fuck?
Kevin Hart pops
Kevin
out.
Hart.
He just popped and like he doesn't even like turn around. He like slides into the aisle.
This was the biggest throw me out of the movie moment.
Worse than Ryan Reynolds, yeah, by far.
So now I'm just like, okay, what is this? You're
Yep.
just having fun.
Your buds are here, yeah.
I don't. If I was watching this in theaters, I would have been like, I guess
Jarred.
I guess these are fun, enjoyable theater movies, and maybe smoke a little bit or have a few drinks and go see it.
Sure, but
like still, it's
still.
like it's Fast and Furious.
Yeah, we're in a world.
Why are you bringing in fucking Deadpool and Kevin Hart and like all this other
It's
shit, dude?
weird.
But I can't take it seriously. And
No.
he wants to be the third wheel.
Which like
Air Marshal Dinkley.
and like also
That's your official name.
Also, it turns out he was like impressive in the past, which I didn't get why they added that. Where like he's like
This scene annoyed the fuck out of me, probably because it threw me out of the movie. But
like
then
it was
also,
funny, but like at what cost?
Kevin Hart's awesome. He fucking blew up, obviously, but he kind of annoys the fuck out of me.
Sure.
And it's just like this scene annoyed the fuck out of me because it felt like, oh, we're in a Kevin Hart movie now.
Yeah, just boom.
because he was like,
He takes over any scene he's in for sure. But also, so does The Rock.
yeah. So that's what they're doing. And I know they did a lot of movies during this time.
I'm sure they were also filming something together, and it would be funny to bring him in. I bet that's what it was.
That's probably what it was.
Yeah.
Because he was like, and then he started doing a voice, and he says, "Why quit doing that voice?"
Where he's talking slow
and like deep, and it's
Yeah.
like, dude, I just put, what is going on, and I just couldn't. It threw me out of it, dude.
Because I didn't love the cameo, because also it was useless. So I was like, I hope they use him later, which at least they did.
They do, but then every time he comes back, it fucking annoys the shit out of me.
No, so like if they would have just used him later, it would have been worth it. But then they talked to him again, and it ruined it again.
Because they literally. So there's scenes that got deleted and extended clips.
Of this?
No, not of this, but from the actual movie. But yet they somehow kept these whole conversations in unnecessarily.
It was,
because it's probably because it's a A-list celebrity.
I fucking guess.
I don't
just for the laugh.
No, I mean, no offense to Ryan Reynolds or Kevin Hart. I love them both. It's a Fast and Furious movie.
No, so like if you
throws
guys,
me out of it.
If you guys were like a part of the movie, but like also like I mean, I guess when The Rock came in and kind of Jason Statham, but like when the movie started, these people weren't huge celebrities, I guess. I mean, like Charlize Theron was brought in; she's pretty.
I get it, but
still.
the way they do bring people in is good. But in this movie, the way
in your face,
the way that Ryan Reynolds plays Ryan Reynolds threw me out of it. The way that Kevin Hart is playing
why
Kevin
would a
Hart,
CIA agent be like
and
that?
why would an air marshal act like Kevin Hart?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You're overhearing people fighting.
Mm-hmm. Also, some of the most wanted people.
Yeah, exactly. And you run the media, so it drove me nuts. And I'm like, I get it. You're making a movie. It's the 9th in the franchise.
You're want money.
You're having
fun.
You're having fun. So I'm sure it was a blast on set.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was like, oh,
everyone's excited. Kevin Hart's here today. Yeah,
doing a fucking. And then I'm sure they're laughing, filming it because he's saying funny shit. But like, overall, it fucking ruined it for me. Yeah. But then we cut back to the base where he captured the scientist, and Idris Elba
gives a terrifying speech.
But he has a fucking flamethrower, and I love it. And I put, dude, he's such a good bad guy. Dude, he shoots the flamethrower at him, and it's so
just
close.
Walking, even when he's like walking up and it's just shooting. Yeah. He says your body's worth 3 pounds, $3.50 max.
Oh, when he's talking about the price of humans or whatever.
That's equal to $4.11.
I mean, it makes sense because he literally goes down like, oh, the iron and like.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's like your liver's worth a lot.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know, dude.
No, you can sell like your kidney for like thousands of dollars. Like people do that.
You want what?
And you should probably keep yours.
Yeah. But now we cut to Russia.
How many hours have passed? Who fucking knows?
Exactly, dude. I'm so glad we brought that up because I didn't even think about that.
Yep.
There's more things are pissing me off.
Because they've flown from America to London to Russia.
Dude, that's a lot of travel time.
That's gotta be
plus everything that's happened exposition wise so far.
It's not easy to get through airport security. That takes you have to show up at least 2 hours early,
especially with fake IDs and shit.
Fuck yeah! So you think this has at least be 30 hours minimum? While also getting your ass kicked in between and recovering, probably sleeping at some point.
They somehow fly to Samoa, which would be a long distance flight. Yeah. Because it's an island. It'd be a smaller flight. How long would it take to book tickets for that?
Well, also there's that scene where they fly around in a jet to the Ukraine.
Yeah.
All right. So we're in Russia now.
We're in Russia. It just starts off with pure chaos. This badass team of hot chicks is taking down mobs, and we're like,
okay.
It just kind of throws us in, but we find out it's a Russian thief team, and the main boss's name is Margarita. Let us write for you. Margarita
in Russia.
Come on.
But then, like, when Shaw gets, like, to her place and he opens the door and they start making out.
They make out.
In front of his sister. It's an odd move, bud. It's not a power move.
I loved it.
I mean, she's hot as fuck, and so is he.
Yeah, I did love seeing it.
But it's still weird.
I loved seeing it. And then this is when they mention the McJagger, which is like one person showboats while the others make the music, basically an inside job.
Yeah.
And so, so basically like every fucking spy espionage action movie where one person goes in.
You mean a distraction?
Yeah.
Just literally that.
But I get it. They referenced earlier they had a code name for it. I forgot what it was.
The Who or whatever.
Yeah. But now badass freaking gadgets and gear because she's like, okay, you got this, you got this, you got this, the pucks, the fucking guns.
And she gives them bulletproof shirts.
Yeah.
The Rock's is a short sleeve. What the fuck?
That's because he got to show off the fucking gun. See, that's why I rolled my sleeves up
He's
today.
gonna get shot in the arms.
Fucking I'm fucking
Jesus
strong,
Christ.
dude. Yeah, Idris Elba is covered head to toe except for his face.
Yeah, like
he's even
to
wearing
his
gloves. Yeah,
fingertips,
he's
yeah.
even wearing gloves.
And-
But that's probably to hold the robot parts.
I guess, but still.
Yeah, but I don't know.
That is wild. We never see Elba completely shirtless. I mean, we see his back open, but I don't remember seeing his chest.
We just see his
shirtless.
back open when he's getting fixed.
Yeah, like I don't remember seeing him shirtless.
No, he's
ever,
always
though.
wearing head to toe, basically
Leather,
except for
yeah.
his face.
Weird.
And even with the motorcycle helmet on it, fucking, which that's a cool fucking look.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
Kind of looks like a Power Ranger, but like a good one.
so basically, Margarita
Yes.
turns Hattie in, and
Yeah,
then the
that'll
guy
happen very quick. Like it's such a long movie, but certain moments just fucking happen quick.
major fucking.
But
boot
then
pump-
Kevin Hart talks for 15 minutes.
Exactly, major points in the movie. I don't understand Hollywood. I
Just
guess
boom, boom,
maybe
boom, yeah.
maybe that's why we haven't succeeded in Hollywood.
Maybe.
because we don't get it.
And we also don't live there.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Because we haven't tried. But she's turning him over and he goes, "You better not lie to me." And she goes, "I wouldn't." Or like, I don't know, like some bullshit. And then he goes, "Okay."
Wait,
and then,
no, I think the line you're thinking about is like, I'll steal like your heart or your soul, or I'll rip out your heart. And she was like, I'd be scared if I had
I'd
one.
be scared if I had one.
Yeah.
And then he just goes, "Okay."
And how did he get to Russia so fast?
That's where their base is in the Ukraine.
Right. Or how did he get to the Ukraine so fast? Like, it's still, why is he bouncing back to the Ukraine and assuming that they're going to go to fucking Russia?
Yeah, why? Because Margarita must have called him and been like, "Hey, I got her.
And then he was,
You're fucking not in Ukraine, but you better come and get her."
well, did he go back to the base? I don't fucking know. Because he goes to the base so many times. And then other parts of the country.
But their main headquarters, that glass building where it gets fixed on, is in the UK.
Right, because in the Ukraine, it's that nuclear facility, which apparently they are also able to own.
That's
How is that a secret headquarters?
That's the Edeon Weapons and Biotech Facility.
It's a nuclear powered plant, though.
Yeah.
That they had 4 nuclear stacks.
We cut to that.
Yeah, I know.
My first note is the wide shot of the plant
yeah,
looked so fake.
Yep.
It looked terrible. It looked like a fucking photo, and then they're just driving along. Like, it looked so fucking bad. And then they freaking drop in Hobbs and Shaw.
No, I have a quote before that.
Oh, okay.
When they see the plane, Shaw goes, "I got shotgun," and then Rock's like, "No, I got shotgun." They're sitting next to each other in the back.
Yeah,
So
they are.
There's no shotgun in a goddamn jet.
You're not co-pilot.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, they
pissed me
literally
off.
look at each other, and then he pulls they do buddy shit, like on my count, and then he just lets
did
him
like
go.
that.
Because
You
that's
go-
the second time they did it.
Yeah, I did like that though.
But then they drop into the base with their parachutes. And of course, it's just the two of them against an entire fucking army.
But also,
good luck.
because my next question is: anyone else a cyborg?
True. I feel like most people.
I don't think anyone else. Because at one point he says you'll earn your upgrades. Which why, if you have them, just fucking make yourself a better fucking army.
Yeah, why wouldn't you want everyone to be in? Yeah, why wouldn't you want everybody upgraded? Yeah, that is because then later on they talk about all this money and shit, and he's like, it doesn't matter about the money.
Well,
It
they
matters
have
about
a shit ton of money.
Yeah,
too.
it's just like, what, dude? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. They should have all been cyborgs.
Yeah, because-
they should have been. No, but they're just normal human beings that get killed.
Oh, and this is where I took a note. We're only an hour in, and this feels like a huge scene.
This is only an hour in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I felt like this was good, like the final scene.
Yep.
And I was
But-
hoping it was.
But nope.
Not even close.
This is kind of where the movie started to just
Like, I
fucking
was like-
stretch. Just like,
What is it? What is going on? So my first question is, how do you not get noticed when a plane flies above your base and 2 people parachute in when you're at a headquarters of bioweapons and you have security and a whole team? How do you not notice 2 people just drop into your nuclear freaking thing?
not to mention like, oh, this girl got turned in that was with these 2 special agents.
And yet they're not by her.
Yep.
I don't know. And then this is when he brings her in. Welcome to the extraction room, Mrs. Shaw or Miss Shaw.
Okay,
And that's
so
when I
it's
was
in
like,
that
oh, duh. Her last name is Shaw. Makes sense. So then I kept calling her the rest of the movie Miss Shaw. So the continuity and everything in these movies is fucking terrible. Fucking quarter mile takes 10 minutes.
Yep.
This next scene proved me wrong. They set a timer for 45 minutes.
Okay.
the timer of the bomb.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, finally a realistic fucking extraction.
Is that why shit just starts exploding in the chase scene
Yeah,
later?
remember before they do their thing, they set the thing for 40. It looked
Okay.
like, yeah, it's 45 minutes.
'Cause I
so
remember-
they have 45 minutes to get in, get her, and get out. That's realistic.
So I have
in
a
most
thing-
of these movies, you have 2 minutes.
All right, but also they're knocked out for a while, so who fucking knows? Because also I have a thing like 2 paragraphs
but still,
down.
45 minutes. That's realistic.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so this is when they approach the 2 doors and they choose their ones.
Yeah.
And Decker chooses wrong, and it's like 8 guys in there, and then Shaw chooses him, or no, and then Hobbs chooses him, and there's a guy bigger than him,
Bigger than him with a wrench.
and then one punch.
And I was like, oh, it made me think of when Vin Diesel had the wrench.
Yeah.
And I was like,
He almost-
fuck yeah. But I was like so scared. But literally he just goes, dink.
And done.
And he falls over. And I'm like,
That's so fucking
all
lame.
right, one punch to the head and tumbled. And then I know it was ridiculous and stupid and like cheesy because it's like, okay, what are we trying to be, a comedy here?
Yeah.
But when he's trying to get access to his door and it keeps like,
Yeah.
and he literally goes through everybody in the room and it's just access denied. And he's
My
slamming
question
his
is,
faces.
but also the thing is, none of their eyes were open.
Yeah, he's just literally slamming faces
Yeah.
into it. But it
bef-
was funny because it just go access denied, access
But
denied.
before that, when he was fighting, he took a baton and started beating the shit out of people. But then also he took this weird slap
Dude,
bracelet.
this slap bracelet thing was awesome because then he started linking people together.
But also, what the fuck was that?
I don't know.
What
it looked cool because I liked the way because he would wrap someone's arm around someone's neck and then slap it together.
And then, tase them all,
automatic.
yeah.
Is it like a quick handcuff thing that locks?
Yeah, I didn't understand what it was,
was
but it's
cool,
like a
though.
weird slap bracelet thing. Yeah,
Because he linked 4 people together with it.
yeah,
which
and
was
then
awesome.
tasing them all. Yeah, and then they break through the room, and then they get hit once, and they're out. Both of them. Just
Well,
boom.
dude, I said they're fucked.
Yep.
Elbow was waiting with the whole team, and I said we've talked about this before. Shoot them.
Yeah.
The entire team is there surrounding him.
So this is when he was told not to kill them.
Oh,
to
true.
Try
I forgot.
to flip
I forgot.
them.
I
So that's
forgot.
what that was.
And then we cut back to her on the table, and we find out she has the fucking lock set pin that she was messing around with on the plane.
Yep.
That she used earlier to save the handcuffs in her mouth. And I was like, fuck yeah, that's like my boy Houdini. Houdini used to keep the lockpick in his mouth. That was the secret to his magic.
Because then we see Hobbs and Shaw tied up
Oh my god, dude.
and
This is a scary scene. This is like an old school
in
torture
like Bond kind of thing.
scene.
Yeah.
Because they're using 2 car batteries hooked to them as electro fucking shock thing. And then
So this is my favorite line that The Rock has said, I think, in this franchise, where he says something and then he gets shocked. And then he's like, you just had to open your mouth. And he says, I thought it was just a cool thing to say. That's my favorite line The Rock has ever said because it's the first honest goddamn thing.
Yeah, where he's like admits that he was wrong. Yeah, because he's like
3 will kill a man. And he's like, I feel like it'll be 4 for you. And The Rock's like, we can take 5.
And they get 4. Yeah, which
So-
is they should have been fucking fried.
Yeah, so 4 didn't kill them, but also electricity doesn't fucking build. It moves through you. Like it's
Yeah, because electric chair is one switch.
yeah, and like time wise too. Also, he shocks them for a long.
I was fucking worried. Like I was like, how are they gonna get out of this? Because these are the main 2 guys. There's no Fast and Furious team coming to rescue him.
Yeah.
All we got is a girl that's fucking about to die. And then we find out, the bullet that was in his head is right there. And then he just gives it to Shaw, and Shaw's like, I don't give a fuck about
yeah,
this.
I did like that a lot
He just
too.
throws it away, dude.
Because the one thing that I hated is something that Idris Elba said. I can't remember. Brixton. He says, "Look at me, I'm Black Superman."
You hated that?
I hated that.
I love that.
That took me out. But also, I read
That took you out?
I read the original line was supposed to be, "I'm Black James Bond,"
Oh.
and he didn't want to say that.
James Bond is British.
Yeah. I think it was also because people wanted him for Bond, but then also people were like, James Bond can't be like, it was like that whole like
He would have
weird
been a
thing.
cool Bond.
He would have been a badass Bond. No, he's probably my first choice for Bond.
Oh my god, dude,
But
that'd
he
have been
didn't
awesome.
say that because of all
yeah,
that.
look at me, I'm
shit.
Black Superman. But like before he says that, they got shocked 4 times, and I literally put, "Shut the fuck up, Rock."
Yeah,
like
he keeps shock-
you're both getting shocked. Like even like, what are you doing? Quit being like a tough guy.
And this is where we learned that Shaw was set up from the beginning. It was Brixton that killed his team that Shaw got blamed for, and that's why
his sister disowned him and didn't talk to him.
But also, after that, Shaw turned to a life of terrorism.
Yeah, and was taking down the entire world and fucking blowing up banks and killing fucking innocent people.
Because he was wrongfully accused, he then became a much larger like what the fuck is that supposed to mean?
But yet
Out
his
of
sister,
spite?
disowned him because of that fact.
But also his other brother, just a criminal.
His
and
other
his
brother-
mom, just a criminal.
They're
I
all
guess.
criminals.
Except for him and his sister.
But she was a criminal when she was a kid.
Yeah, I don't fucking get it.
It doesn't make fucking sense. So now they're like, okay, he was thinking about maybe joining, and then I
and
said
they're one shock away from death.
I said it's kind of dumb when they were arguing, but I did like it where they were going, "That's my guy." No, that's
Yeah.
my guy, because they were talking about who they were gonna like. He's like, "I'm gonna kick punch him," and he's like, "No, I'm gonna headbutt him."
and you headbutt him. He's too big to headbutt. Like,
Yeah,
that
it's like
kind of shit.
I kind of like that whole
Where
thing.
they're like, we're going to escape in the next 7 seconds.
And then this is when she shows up with the scientist, and she tries to shoot him, and the gun doesn't work because of the fucking glove,
which is also in James Bond.
which is really. That's fucking cool. But then the scientist comes out and says, "Try this gun," and flame throws it.
Which sends people flying?
Dude, no, it sends Idris Elba flying over the table.
Since when has a flamethrower
A projectile.
ever done that?
Yeah,
Like,
no, but it was awesome.
all it does is
I loved it.
Well, I hate that. That annoys
That
because
threw you out of it? Dude, I
because
feel like
flamethrowers
you
don't-
like things that I hate.
no, it's like flamethrowers are. It's just you're on fire now. That's the issue. Not that it throws you. It's not a fucking like. Well,
He
also,
was on fire, but he got thrown over
and
a
he's
table,
throwing
dude.
because also to push that far back would also mean the scientist would fly equally far back.
because of he's a scientist. He should know about that. It's the first law of motion.
And then Hobbs and Shaw just break Hobbs
literally
breaks
just
out,
breaks the chair.
and Shaw just like
Shimmies-
stands out.
yeah, he literally shimmies
Like,
out of it.
What the fuck is that?
Okay, so then they get in the car or the Jeep or something, and I put The Rock isn't even in the fucking car.
Nope. Also,
why
it
is he
takes-
standing on the side of it just fucking shooting?
Also, this takes way more than 7 seconds.
What do you mean 7 seconds?
That's what they said is in the next in 7 seconds, I'm gonna do all of this and escape.
Oh yeah, true. And then it takes like fucking 10 minutes. And then they escape, kind of like she jumps in the car.
Yep.
They're on the chase, and then I didn't expect this, but it doesn't make sense. Idris Elba just walks up and goes to the scientist.
Yeah,
just fucking
I-
breaks his
I
neck, and I
like
was
that.
like, oh shit, I forgot this guy is a bad guy.
Yep. Did you notice
really
during
bad guy.
the entire car chase scene, Hattie was falling out of the car? Like during, like they jump over something and her feet are on the dashboard, like, and she's up.
Well, I have
and
notes on that
And
later.
she slides forward. Like it was so
I
confusing.
have
to
notes
me.
on that way later because it's coming up because that's when shit is like going down and
Yeah.
So now it's a freaking. I said now this is freaking Fast and Furious off road driving through windows.
Yeah.
Fucking driving up shit like doesn't make any sense. And I put of course the Rock's driving the big car just plowing
I
through
liked
shit.
that car though. It looked badass.
Like that fucking truck.
with the weird like grid on the front. I liked it.
And it was fucking awesome. And then this is when so right before they drive through, it's Shaw and Miss Shaw. Right before they drive through, Shaw goes, "Brace yourself,"
And she just, like-
she doesn't.
Yeah, she just like floats. Like she's like.
Yeah, and that's when she starts falling out of the car, and it's like, dude, he told you to brace yourself.
Also, wear a goddamn seatbelt.
Yeah, dude, so she's fucking flailing around, and
then
I
she,
said,
like,
you
gets on the
gotta listen to your big brother.
And then she like climbs on the side of it, and like I think she's shooting. I don't fucking know what she's doing.
And then they say, "You ready for the plan? You ready to rub paint?
Yeah.
or something like that." And it's like, what does that mean? So then they're gonna do like some weird,
where they hit
which
stuff.
which isn't the worst trade that happened in a Fast and Furious. Remember that one trade where she jumps through a window
into the other one. Right. Was that Ramsey that did that?
was,
Yeah.
But so then she jumps. The Rock catches her with one hand, and then bam, she's on his lap, baby.
Yeah.
and I was like, God.
and there's that weird moment where they're looking at each other. I'm like, look at the fucking road.
Yeah, you're driving. But I will say, like, Idris Elba dives after her and just barely, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
I did
he's-
like it when they were showing him mess up.
because like he's flawed,
Yeah.
even though he thinks he's the
Even
future
though he
of
thinks
humanity.
he's like
yeah.
a perfect human, dude. But then he gets back on his bike, and his bike's like a transformer.
I know,
And
I
it's-
love
and
it.
even like during some of the scenes, it has transformer noises.
Yeah.
like that bass,
Especially that sliding one. Yeah.
So this is another scene that pissed me the fuck off when Shaw and Miss Shaw are driving and they ramp up and land on the Rock's truck. How the fuck did you do
Did
that?
you time that?
Because
the
you
moment you're in
landed-
the air, you're losing so much velocity so fast because of air pressure.
And also, you came at an angle, so they land on it sideways.
Yep.
You would have just kept driving off. Your
Yeah,
wheels are
like just
still
the inertia,
spinning.
yeah.
But nope, it just boop,
And then they get off, and then it falls off, and they're like, "Oh, we're fine."
No, we're fine, dude. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And now it's a fight scene on the truck, and
Right, because Idris also jumps on.
and some
like
of the wide shots. I was like, this is so green screened.
Well, yeah, because they're like hopping in place on the back of an open truck. Like, nope, you can't do that.
Yeah, the truck would just keep moving
Yeah,
because you
like-
would stay still.
Well, I mean, not still, but like you would lose inertia in the air quickly.
It was
yeah.
freaking ridiculous. And then
They lose the fight, kind of.
they lose the fight, and that thing tumbles down and hits the truck. And then we notice that the extraction machine breaks.
Yeah, but
And I
like
was
doesn't get completely just like it just
it just falls apart.
I fucking get
So, like,
instead
they-
of being completely destroyed.
But if it just falls apart, just plug the things back in.
Well, also, if a building falls on something, I don't think you can fix it. You know, like
Yeah.
it's kind of beyond that. 'Cause
Yeah, I think you're fucked, lady.
everything. Yeah, I think.
Also, it's been more than 3 days.
Yeah, you also just it's airborne.
And now it's time for family.
So The Rock.
Has a brother.
No, that's so The Rock is like, all right, so this woman's about to die and it's about to go airborne. Let me take this home to the island I live. Like that's his answer, is to risk everyone he's left.
Well, remember when they went back to L.A. and they were gonna do the whole when the bad guys had God's eye.
And they're like, let's go to the most populated place. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to our home.
Where all the cameras are, for God's yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus
smart.
Christ.
Always take it home. Oh,
Yep.
because home is where family is. So
Family I haven't seen in 15
Yeah,
years.
now we cut to Samoa, dude.
And
then-
The Rock says a line that annoyed oh, he's the best mechanic I know.
I know,
What
dude.
the fuck are you saying?
I fucking hated that because I was like, Dominic Toretto.
Or Tage.
Or
Ramsey.
fucking, everybody in that team's mechanics.
Yep.
How is he the best mechanic you know and you haven't talked to him in 15 years?
And you're assuming he will know this future fucking tech that he will.
How does a car mechanic know how to fix a scientific extraction device that involves
pulling
blood out of
like little pods in the blood out of her veins.
Well, because blood's like oil.
I fucking guess. And
No, dude, that's
thicker
one
than
thing.
blood.
That's one thing that I didn't. He's a mechanic, not a scientist, and
You
only
also don't know what he's up to.
And only one scientist in the entire world knew how to make this device.
Yep. Oh,
And
some
that's
weird
why they
little
had to get
German
him.
guy. Yep. God.
Dude, yeah, fucking
That-
so dumb.
That's probably my biggest issue with this movie is that the idea that his brother fixes it.
And he does. He somehow 3D prints parts for it.
Yep.
Right.
But also it's like low tech, like shit. But then they also have that because like I like the low tech stuff where it's like it's more like
Samoan
island
culture, yeah,
living.
yeah.
Like it's cool.
But
it's
then a 3D
fun.
printer.
Yep. And also just like all this weird, like yeah.
But they're driving into town, and of course they address how they got there because Kevin
Hart.
Hart. Yeah, but Kevin Dinkley Hart, dude, is how they got there. And then of course, Jonah's a mechanic. Cars family. And then this is when I notice he knocks on the door, which he gets punched, which I do think is funny because
And I like the idea that he made the bet of like 50 quid, says he gets punched in the face immediately. I like that.
Yeah, and then their whole family comes out, and I notice immediately he doesn't ever talk. He does like a Samoan yell later on, but one of the Rock's brothers, one of the Rock's Usos, is Roman Reigns, which is one of the biggest guys in WWE currently.
Yeah, okay.
And he's a big dude. He has a tribal arm, tattoo, and he's a
Okay.
huge fucking dude.
Because you mentioned,
But he's a big wrestler.
you mentioned a scene where like you really see him. I do remember that. I'm also gonna pee real quick.
All right, we'll play jazz real quick. So now we're in Samoa. We cut back. We find out, Mama Rock.
Yep.
We introduced Mama Rock, and then I
Was
realized
she the only woman on the island?
he has mostly just strong men.
I think it is.
and
yeah.
all of these Usos. And then I realized, oh shit, it's Samoans versus Black Spider-Man. Let's go.
What?
That's what it is, dude. It's the Samoans versus Black Spider-Man. Oh,
Superman. Okay, jeez. I thought you were like saying Miles Morales. I was like, what?
Superman.
Yep. There you go.
But I was like, it's final battle time, even though I thought the last scene would have been the final battle because this movie felt long.
You'd hope it.
I didn't. What was the runtime?
2 hours, 15 minutes. Not short.
None of them are, but the other Fast and Furious didn't feel long.
They did.
I guess they did too.
Because they have to go to so many places in all these fucking movies.
There's so many cutbacks.
Yep.
But yet, 72 hours. So The Rock is telling the sob story to Miss Shaw about his dad getting into dangerous jobs. But then I put, that has been you in every one of these movies.
That's fair.
Like, what are you trying to say? And then we find out he turned his own papa in to save his family because he kept risking his brothers'
doing
lives.
more and more dangerous jobs. Yeah,
And that's why his brothers and whole family hates him.
But also, now he's bringing this woman who is the deadliest virus known to man.
And terrorists to a peaceful island.
Yep.
Yeah, I would be pissed too.
Yeah, I would be mad now.
I'd be super mad.
Because also the family was like, this isn't our fucking problem.
Yeah, but, you know.
I don't remember how he actually convinces them. I think Shaw convinces them, right?
It's not. It's the mom.
Oh, okay.
Mama Rock stands up and is like,
Mama Hobb.
Mama Rock stands.
Also, it's like, I feel like Hobbs,
is not Samoan.
no. Like, from him literally being from the island.
Yeah. This is the first time we learn that he's Samoan in these movies.
True.
He's just Samoan in real life. That's why we're doing
Granted,
this.
his last name is Johnson. That doesn't feel super Samoan either.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
That is weird.
Granted, I don't know what a Samoan last name is.
My uncle is Samoan.
Oh.
Utu. His name is Pio Utu.
All right. That's
And
fair.
he's cool as fuck.
Because my aunt is Maori, but her last name is Snow because my uncle is white.
White snow.
There you go.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Johnson, Hobbs. Sounds like two penises to me. So then we're like, okay, you got weapons? And he goes, oh yeah, we got weapons. And then he opens up the wall of weapons and you can see the outline of the guns.
Yep.
But nope, it's just Samoan
Spears,
tribal
clubs,
weapons,
yep.
which I was like,
Cool.
but you're fucked.
Yeah. Also,
You're fucked.
who made these weapons? Like, why?
These are like old school museum. Like,
Yeah. So we find out that the mom got rid of all the guns,
makes sense.
but still put these weapons in the secret gun weapon spots. Who did that? Because who had to change like the hook system instead of like a revolver? This now holds a spear.
Yeah,
like
'cause it's way different.
Someone adjusted, all of the like
And that
the
probably
stuff.
took an entire day.
Yeah, probably.
There was a lot of shit in
Where
there.
the fuck did the guns go, and who made all these weapons?
Well, I'm guessing they're just, I'm guessing they're old from like old school
I
Samoa
guess.
days.
And we learned, thank God, that all of them are still trained in using them.
I don't know, but I have two quotes. They think they're like, are you ready for this? And Shaw goes, war is what I do.
Yeah.
And Rock goes, let's go old school. Okay.
Cool.
So the most high-tech device guns are coming to a Samoan island, and you're going to fight them with spears.
A cyborg is
Yeah.
coming, and you're going to hit him with a club.
Yeah. Smart. Good fucking idea. So
Also,
then,
did they not bring a gun? The two of them? The three of them?
Yeah, they have at least a handgun.
Did you not? Because,
The Rock had his pistol the entire movie. Where's it at?
yeah. You
Is
guys
it
think
because they couldn't bring it on the commercial flight?
they didn't know because they went to Moscow
And had
after.
it.
Yeah. No, so they went commercial flight, then Moscow, where then they jumped out of a plane, and then
And it had fucking
Kevin
assault.
Hart hooked them up. So
What
you
the
think they would
fuck?
still have shit. Also, why didn't you just take another fucking jet to this area?
This is also when I wrote the note, how the fuck's a car mechanic going to fix a virus extractor?
I had that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I literally put a quick question because I wrote this down while the montage is happening of them changing the island,
Yep.
doing fucking bullshit.
Yeah, there's fucking like Kevin from Home Alone on this goddamn island.
Yeah, they're literally like setting traps and booby traps
Just everywhere, all around. Like,
But
does
like
anyone?
do a weird montage.
But also, like, are these the only people who live on this island?
just
like,
his brothers, I guess.
yeah, like, is there not like anyone else who's just like taking a walk and then it explodes randomly?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess
Is there no
is there
tourism?
is there multiple islands in Samoa? Or I don't know, dude. I feel like because it was just the one house.
Yep.
Beautiful location,
Some
beautiful place.
roads, yeah.
But I was like, what? They're digging holes and putting massive explosions in them. Which, how do you have access to massive explosions?
But like all the guns are gone.
But
Yeah.
not pistols? I don't know. You looked up Samoa,
I'm trying to.
and it just says,
It's just loading.
loading your nearest destination.
It is 2 islands.
2 islands. Okay, yeah. And it's... Yeah.
Apia and the I guess
And
Apia
it
is
looked
just-
like they lived on like the edge of a cliff.
There's
that's-
also one little tiny island, so maybe they're there.
Yeah,
Oh, 2 tiny islands. I
Maybe
don't
they're on the
fucking know.
tiny island. I don't know because they never address it. But then Miss Shaw is looking over the edge, taking him to the last sunset, potentially. The Rock's like, man, what are you doing up here? How did I find you? Who knows? But he randomly finds her.
Also, like, aren't we busy right now?
Yeah, exactly. And then they kiss.
It really horribly. It's a horrible kiss.
Because she, like, does it and then takes it back and was like, should I have done that?
And then he's like, do you want to do it again? And she's like, nope. And
Yeah,
like,
it's just
what's-
like, what?
Okay.
But then they definitely fuck later.
I hope so.
They had to have. So then he finally is about to fix the extraction device, but they're yelling at him to hurry, and he goes, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a mechanic.
And they're like, it will take 30 minutes to take everything out. And they're like, well, how much time do we have? 33 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
It's not his fault that you waited till the last fucking second to make
3
him
minutes. Yeah.
But then once he figures it out and it starts working, they celebrate. And I go, what are you
Nope.
celebrating? It takes 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Celebrate once it's been done.
And, like-
then you have a war coming your way.
Yeah.
What do you celebrate?
Because also that's when the war comes, is right when that happens. And they hook her up to it, and it's fucking intense.
Yeah, it like latches onto her
And
arm,
then just-
and then and the fucking like needle goes in
Yeah.
and starts sucking blood out, and
Yeah.
then separates the blood. It's like you're donating
Jesus.
plasma,
And she's in
it's
a lot of pain. Yeah.
Oh my god,
It was
And
intense.
then here we go. This whole scene I wrote in caps lock because it's a freaking fight scene. The Rock walks out in slow motion in traditional Samoan garb.
It's
and he's
gorgeous.
fucking jacked, beautiful man. And I will say, I've worn that.
Really?
Yeah, because my uncle's Samoan. So my cousin, when he graduated high school, he had a traditional Samoan graduation.
Okay.
And so all the men, like at his graduation party, wore those Samoan
Cool.
things, and I walked on hot coals.
Ooh.
It was and then we also had a massive pig roast.
Cool.
Like a legit pig,
Yeah.
and we threw a full pig in there.
Yeah.
like it was like a really cool this is.
Do you wear underwear under it?
I did,
Okay.
just because
Yeah.
it's just yeah. But I
You're
don't know. I don't know
borrowing it, yeah.
what you do traditionally. But it's literally just a piece of fabric that you wrap and then you fold somehow, and that's how it stays.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's just fabric.
So probably not great to fight in.
Nope. But he looks great doing it.
Can you imagine if he just came out nude though and fought? Like that'd be badass too.
just a
Like
little
that'd be
tiny
terrifying. He said he's well endowed in this movie.
Well, it is like think about like this entire movie. Miss Shaw is fighting basically in a dress for some of it.
Yeah,
and
that's
doing all
true.
that shit. And then also in other Fast and Furious, they're fighting it in heels.
Yeah, but that's still not just like a thing, just like kind of tucked into
Yeah,
itself.
it's just tucked into it, and he's doing fucking punches. And then they do the Samoan hype speech or
Yep.
whatever. I don't know the exact terms, but it was
I liked it,
really
yeah.
fucking cool.
But also, I'm just like, why aren't they shooting you right now?
Yeah, 'cause they're just watching this happen.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, if
Like,
I was
this
him, I just
isn't-
would have been.
Yeah,
I'm a
it's-
bad guy.
This isn't the soccer game. Like it's
Yeah, these are not 9-year-old girls
Yeah.
12 years ago, and she's still 9. You know what I mean? Like, so now it's hand-to-hand combat because they disabled the weapons.
But like not
Fucking-
even immediately also. But also you think if they could disable their weapons and then if one of them had a fucking gun, it'd be over.
Yeah, one of them had a normal gun.
Yep.
And then Shaw makes a fire circle around them so they're trapped.
Which I did like.
Which was pretty freaking cool.
Yep.
And then he's like, bring me a chopper. And I'm like, oh my God.
Why don't you start with the chopper?
Yeah, exactly. What do you think you're doing? But I was saying, if you were really doing hand-to-hand combat,
Yeah.
Samoans versus Black Superman, said it right that time,
There you go.
Edion would have been killed immediately. If you're fighting Edion, like
Oh,
the bad
the
guys,
company, yeah.
they would have been fucked. You're fighting like traditional Samoan fighters.
But also they're wearing
But are they some traditional? They're just Samoans. I guess I don't know.
That's the thing. Like, are they trained in this combat? Do they actually?
They're acting like they
Well,
are.
yeah, they sure-
and it's fucking badass, dude.
So did you notice when the fight started? It was night. They did show the sun like rising, but then like the lighting of the scene was fucking horrible. And then boom, blue sky, complete
Daytime.
blue sky.
Yeah, daytime, especially during the car scene.
But like there's a shit like before that though, like while they're mid fight, if you watch just the like lighting, it is horrible. It was hard to see.
continuity, guys. You ever heard of it?
Yeah.
That's someone's job on movie sets is continuity.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Let us be that job on your next movie.
Come on,
We would love
Moist
it.
boys go fast. Let's
Moist
be the
boys-
writers, the continuity people.
Moist boys get continuity.
Yeah, good luck typing that into Twitter.
Hashtag it.
Can't even spell it. But I will say this is a badass fucking scene.
I like that.
It is really cool. I love how they're throwing spears. There is a scene. This is where you notice Roman Reigns like goes, ah, and then The Rock goes next to him, and The Rock's veins are fucking. I'm like, holy shit,
just out of his
He's
body.
Scary as fuck, dude. And then we find it. We look over and see Miss Shaw. Because that fucking thing's pumping her blood out and extracting it.
And she's getting a little dizzy too during
Yeah,
this.
she's losing her fucking strength, obviously, because 30-minute extraction.
But she's still fucking fighting.
Somehow with the
this-
I love how they built a backpack so she
Yeah.
could still move.
Like,
will you lay down, hide?
Yeah.
Hide.
Yeah, like have someone with a goddamn gun because
they
think
didn't
someone
bring
would
guns,
fucking
remember?
have they would have. No, but
They
like
should
she
have had
definitely
guns.
shouldn't be fighting with this thing, saving her life.
And then the chopper shows up. Idris somehow grabs her, gets her in
Easily. Like she just goes. Yep.
and then grabs her, gets her in the chopper, and then Shaw notices and then yells, Hobbs! So then they both notice. How do you not notice a fucking chopper?
And then Hobbs, did you notice what he does during this part?
What?
Puts on pants and a shirt.
So he's wearing the traditional garb, and then all of a sudden he's wearing pants.
So all of a sudden he's wearing pants. I don't remember him putting it on, and he jumps on the back of the truck and throws on a t-shirt.
I do remember
Yeah,
that.
why the fuck
when
did
did he
he-
change outfits?
Where
I
were
do
the
remember-
pants?
yeah,
Where was the shirt?
Because he wasn't wearing pants underneath it. That's for sure.
I doubt it. But also, where was the shirt? If he had, because he had pants all of a sudden, and then he puts on a shirt on the back of the truck.
And then he goes, "It's time to go fishing." That's literally what he
There,
says.
and then he's like, "I'll reel him in, you'll gut him," and then he says something else that's just like
so fucking stupid. But they're the old school fucking tow truck.
Also, it's
which is-
been over 6 minutes at this point.
Oh, hands down. But like the old school tow truck, they're chasing down a helicopter.
Yep,
Then he somehow throws it and hooks it,
sure does.
which fucking badass.
Sure,
Fucking badass. But
that's not my biggest issue with this scene.
this scene gets more ridiculous.
It gets like unfounded. Like it's
like so stupid. And then I said, "Oh, the car is lifting," and then they start linking the cars together to add more weight.
So the first one guy grabs 2 chains, tosses them perfectly on the axle. The second one, a guy just releases 2 hooks perfectly. Like, that pissed me off.
The next one, he somehow gets super close, and there's like a spring-loaded thing that just goes. Dink!
Yep. It just what the
It
fuck?
reminded me of one of the Fast and Furious movies when they're stealing the oil trucks, and they have to drop that thing, but yet they're being so precise about that,
Yeah.
but yet somehow he throws 2 hooks and he's like, hit the axle, bam, he does.
Yep.
Immediately.
It was the one where he just like literally pulls the lever and they just and it just, what the fuck are you doing? And also, I'll talk about this when it happens later.
Oh my god, it was ridiculous. There was fucking so many cars trying to hold us down, but it was lifting all of them, and then
Dangling him off a cliff.
And then Rock goes, hit him with the moonshine now.
But also,
Moonshine means nitrous, baby.
we get fucking in-car animation that
of
pumped
the
me up.
moonshine going
I
through it.
Love
yes,
that.
dude. It's like old school Fast and Furious. Let's fucking go.
Because this is while they're dangling like off the cliff.
And there's okay, how there's like 4 cars dangling from a chopper.
Yep. Which means now the chopper's holding all that fucking weight.
The front car only has its front 2 wheels on the ground, and
Yeah.
yet somehow it has enough power to pull all of that forward.
And a helicopter.
Realistic.
So, and then like after they pull them all in, they're unhooked.
Yeah.
Suddenly.
They're just driving fucking chaotically.
Yeah, all 4 of them are unhooked all of a sudden. And that pissed me off.
Weapons online.
Yep.
And then you're like, oh, fuck, dude.
Well,
now you're...
she's just like kind of fighting in the back. Like she's just kind of tossing around in the back of that helicopter.
That's because she's getting her freaking shit, dude. And then they were ready for the fucking weapons. That's why they were digging those holes.
Yeah,
because
this is when the Home Alone acts in. Yeah,
dude, because they start boom, boom, boom.
Those, yeah.
And the cars are fucking going flying. And I did like it, dude. And then this scene made me so happy. He's like, hit the stake. And he drives and his tire flips the stake. And then this fucking thing goes bam. It literally reminded me of old school Rambo. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
The trap spike one that just whips around. Or like Indiana Jones had that too, where it's like one and there was a skeleton on it.
Fucking, I love that shit. And I was like,
that,
hell yeah. And then we find out that the plane is losing its rotor because it got hit by something. But then also, the chain on the fucking tow truck is losing. What are you going to do, Rock? Hold it.
And that scream. And then he like throws it in,
and
then
somehow wheels in. It's
just
so
immediately, yes.
But just the scene of him holding the chain while the truck with his.
He's holding a helicopter and a truck in play. Because, like, there's that scene in Captain America where he grabs a helicopter to keep it from going. But that's Captain
It's
America.
Captain America. He's fucking strong. But
Yeah.
so is The Rock. But also remember in like Fast and Furious 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, where Vinny Boy drops the engine block and then grabs the chain,
Yeah.
which was awesome. I loved it.
That's like
But
300
block? Chopper.
Yeah, because I wonder how much engine blocks
Engine
pretty
blocks
fucking
are
heavy.
fucking heavy,
Yeah.
but what's heavier?
A
An
helicopter
airplane
and a truck.
with fucking 4 people in it. There's a lot of people in this fucking dude.
So he gets it thrown back in, and then the helicopter pulls it off a cliff,
and then so then they all fucking fall.
and then all of a sudden it's pouring rain. Just
Yeah, and it's night and it's dark again.
yeah, I mean, like, you could see the clouds in the background, but it's very suddenly because they're also like
I
kinda,
mean, you do hear during the scene like the thunder and the rain coming in.
Yeah,
and
and-
he literally mentions earlier he's like the island will help us. Like he's like he like hinted at the weather.
did
and
this though.
I don't know, but it made the scene look cool.
Like, it's not
and
like anyone
everyone
got struck by lightning,
and everybody that would have been fucking the helicopter. You just
or it's just like you just like
Thanks,
stands
Island.
up and then poof.
that'd have been awesome. But then
That's why we
dude,
should write these movies.
they fucking fall off the cliff, and I said everyone would be dead except for Idris Elba because he's a robot.
Yeah,
You know, everybody,
they fell what,
especially
40 feet
fucking Miss Shaw. She's already like barely struggling, and she just
in a
crashes.
helicopter in like Oh wait, or does she kind of jump? I don't remember. Does she jump out at all?
No, she's
she
in it
wants to, and then she falls back. I think. Yeah.
It's fucking. And then I have a quote from Shaw and The Rock because they say one line together. Shaw starts it, The Rock finishes it. Shaw goes, "It's not just metal they filled your head with. It's bullshit." That's how The Rock finishes it.
Yeah, because I bet Shaw's just
this is like the-
God damn it, that's not what I was gonna say. It's like,
Good one, boys. Because this is like the fight scene where they're like trying to take him down, and they realize, oh, now at the end of the movie, we should probably work together.
through the power of friendship.
Yeah, dude.
But like before they figured it out, how this is the scene where I'm like, how hard Idris hits them, where it's like he can see the velocity, boom, and
Dude,
then just
I was badass, but I will say
too much slow motion.
too much slow motion. It reminded me so much of Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
Remember when they
Yes.
did that? Which was
Absolutely.
cool when they did that because that was like one of the first times I remembered noticing it.
And that was one scene they did. Like that
they
was
did
like
this so many times, dude. The entire fight scene.
Yes.
Just
And of course, they made them wet, so the rain would like bounce or like that
they probably
rocky
got a
thing.
cool camera, and they probably. But I was like, dude, come on, dude. And then
so
slow
this is-
motion rock headbutt.
I have that because this is where they figure out like if I get hit by him, you can hit him,
And then we'll do vice versa.
yeah, we'll trade off. But then The Rock wastes his hit on a headbutt, the one thing that hurts both of them.
And he's a robot. A headbutt's not going to do anything,
You just
buddy.
headbutt a fucking robot. Yeah, because here my next night is like cool fight scene, but way too much slow mo. But then fucking Shaw does some crazy shit. Because there's one where like Idris is on the ground and like Shaw like slide tackles
Dude,
into
it's
him.
fucking yeah.
and
Because
sends
now
him
they're
pinwheeling.
Because now they're finally taking him down.
Well, because they're each beating him with a fucking
Doom,
like piece of
doom,
metal.
boom, and
then
they're hitting him in the head, which is this. You know, it's
throwing off his
wires are-
eyes. And then like The Rock like tosses him, and then he does like a fucking
dude.
flying head kick.
It was. I will say,
Beautiful.
it was awesome.
One of
Even
my
though-
favorite like fight moves in these.
Even though the slow motion was annoying me,
kept
and I was
going,
like,
yeah.
dude, what's going on? And then. Right before the final finishing
So-
Bach body slam, there's a
So
quote.
this is what made me dislike the Black Superman quote is because of
I
this.
liked this quote because
Really?
I connected the dots.
It was
the
too
most obvious dots.
Yes, this is why I
But I
didn't
feel like most
it.
people that would have watched this movie casually wouldn't have connected the dots.
Yes, they would. Because they
know.
say Black Superman like 3 times in this film.
But The Rock says, "Here comes the kryptonite."
Yeah.
I get it. You're Superman, and he back body slams him onto a rock.
Just
Just literally boom.
would have just
killed him, dude.
smashed his skull in. Can
then-
you imagine if that's how the fight ended and he's like his brains are just out. He's like, oh shit.
But I put so that's it. They won because they have Rock was on like a speech.
Yep.
They won because they have people and heart.
Yep.
So friendship.
Yep.
Family.
And
That's
then-
why you won the fight.
Yeah.
That's why.
Against a robot. And then fucking Idris is there. He's like, you've done it before. Kill me. To Shaw.
And Shaw goes, "I've done it once. I'm not going to do it again."
Also, Shaw doesn't have a fucking gun on him.
No, he does. He picked up Idris's gun.
which is scanned.
He scanned it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he
Okay.
touched it to him, and it went zoom. He
Okay,
did
I
scan
didn't
it.
miss-
So
all
then,
right, I
yeah,
missed that.
it
Okay.
happened really quick. He did scan the gun, but he was about to shoot him, and then he's like, "No, I'm not going to shoot you." And then, you know what? It doesn't matter because he's going to be dead
Beep, bop,
anyway.
boop. Yep.
The director says, "Fuck you, you're done."
Why?
And shuts him down. Why?
And then he just like falls into the water. Yeah. Because also, this is where I kind of
So
figured
his
out.
body's just wasted.
Yep. Because yeah, why wouldn't you like extract all the shit you
All
put
the
in?
parts.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope.
Because this is a question I have. Wouldn't an EMP have solved the entire bricks or what Idris Elba problem?
Oh, if they would have just gone boom and then it would just shuts him down.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
Damn, yeah, because they had an EMP in the last fucking movie.
Yep. They had like 3 charges on an EMP. Yep.
Jesus Christ. I don't know. But then this is when they're teasing a sequel. Are they going to do it? It ends with them bickering. Nice.
Well,
That's what I
and-
said.
Daughter meets grandma at this point, right? Because the
Oh,
daughter shows up on the fucking island somehow.
And then, yeah, they do. Yeah.
And
how did she end up in Samoa?
I don't know.
She didn't
Fucking
fly.
Kevin Hart.
Wants to be the part of the team.
He wants to be the third.
Watch him be in Fast 9.
I wouldn't be surprised. Fucking Bama Boy got brought back for 5 or whatever it was.
Yeah, but that makes sense. As much as I hate him, it makes sense because they had to connect the dots of the storyline. This movie doesn't have a fucking storyline. I mean, it has a storyline, just no continuity.
Yeah.
And then happily ever after, families back together. You know, they go to visit Shaw and Miss Shaw go to visit their mom in prison. She's happy about it. They deliver the cake that has the thing they're going to escape her with.
Yep.
End credits. Everyone's happy.
It's great.
The end.
It's not. No.
Movie ain't over.
It gets worse. They
Just fucking end it.
Yep.
I don't want to see this anymore.
Nope. Especially
Because
these post-credit scenes are fucking horrible.
these are the worst post-credit scenes because they kept coming.
Because
Deadpool's back. Ryan Reynolds is back.
And
he's in war. Apparently, he's getting shot at.
Yeah.
And then we find out there's a new virus.
and
then
now
we find
eats
out
your outside, which is fucking
And then we
instead of
find
your
out.
inside.
Then we find out. Oh, sorry, I wasn't talking to you, Rock. I was talking to your 9-year-old daughter. And then the Rock gets on the phone and he goes, "Wow, you have this thing."
Yep.
No, I want to talk to your dad. And then that's how that scene ends.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Joke. I said, damn, jokey ending. Seems unnecessary.
And this is also where they spoil Game of Thrones for some fucking reason.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's fucked up.
That's weird. Like, why would you do that?
I don't know how they
They had to have filmed that at the very fucking post. But like, why would they? Why was there Game of Thrones reference any? Like, it's fucking weird.
Yeah, because they mentioned Game of Thrones at the very beginning
Mm-hmm.
with Ryan Reynolds. Because she's like, yeah, I watched it over at a friend's house when I'm 9. And
Yep, and-
I don't fucking get it. So then I started typing out my last thoughts, and I said, pretty fine movie.
But now there's another post-credit scene.
Well, let me finish off my thoughts before the next scene happens.
Oh, okay.
Because I was letting the credits roll.
Because I started writing mine, and then I was like, oh shit, here we go again.
Typical buddy action film, saving the world with hot people, lots of unnecessary cameos and bad jokes. Kind of enjoyable, but it was just fine. I missed having Vinny Boy, but I know it's a spinoff.
Yep.
And I don't know if I'd watch this again, even though the cast was great and Idris Elba was in it. Like all the main people were awesome. It's just it
You
threw me
think
out
it
of
would be perfect.
And then another scene. And I'm like, oh, Shaw's at a bar.
Yep.
This might be a cool one. Nope. Shaw calls The Rock and he's like, how you doing, buddy? Then we find out Shaw's name is actually Hugh Janus.
Oh, right. When he calls the cops on him for Hugh Janus.
Yeah. And he goes, gotcha.
I'm like, okay.
But I don't know if you noticed this. In the beginning movie, in the cutscene, I don't remember what band shirt The Rock was wearing. But I'm pretty sure it was an American.
Motley Crue.
Yeah, he was wearing Motley Crue.
Yep.
At the end, he's wearing The Clash.
Oh, that's kind of
Which
cute.
is a UK punk band. So I think that's like a little
They're buddies.
they're buddies. I like the UK now.
Yep.
So if you're able to write stuff like that, why can't you write good? I don't get it. But I did like that subtle messaging they had.
I kind of liked the beginning of that scene where he's like, oh no, I'm just calling to check in on you. Like, I like that idea.
But then it was back to jokey Hugh Janus.
Yep.
So
And then if there was another post-credit
is.
scene, I didn't see it. I gave
So
up.
I said overall it was fine. Couple phone action scenes, but that's it.
Yep.
This is when I gave my rating.
Okay.
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Okay. So Tell me about the last credit scene before I give my review.
Well, okay, so I'll read you off the rest of my paragraph,
Okay.
and then because I was writing this before the last scene happened, because the last scene happens after all the credits.
Yep, I gave up.
You should have. I let it play, and because I was like, dude, I hated it. I said definitely better than 1 and 3, but I'd rather watch the other movies than this again.
Really?
Just
Okay.
bring back the family I care about. Toretto's, Vinny Boy, and then I put another ending scene. It's Ryan Reynolds again.
Really?
Morlock just being dumb. And this is a quote. He goes, "I stabbed a guy with a brick." Like, it's like more of him doing shit.
Wait, wasn't the brick stabbing line earlier?
Yeah.
To the girl.
But he goes, how do you stab someone with a brick? Like, he's
Yeah.
like trying to, but then the ending scene is, I stabbed someone with a brick, and then it pans over and there's a brick in somebody.
The fuck?
And that's the end. Like, I was like, what?
What?
Dude, it was so stupid.
Oh.
It was so dumb.
Yeah.
It was so freaking dumb. And then
Weird.
mine automatically started doing extended scenes at the end.
Yeah.
So there's a scene couldn't get through these because it was barely clips cut out of full scenes that we had already seen.
Sure.
So the first one was Shaw from the beginning was tracking down Hattie.
Yeah.
And there was some pretty cool shit where he was like kind of spying and figuring it out, taking some people down.
Okay.
I was like, why do you cut that?
Yeah.
And not Kevin Hart talking.
Hey, we never even talked about
And
our-
then there was some more stuff from the Tango interrogation scene.
Ugh.
And I think there was more, but I just shut it off at that point. I
We
was
never
like,
talked about Kevin Hart's second cameo where he's fucking sitting on a toilet talking to them, and it's so stupid.
and then Shaw just throws his phone.
Yep.
And Hobbs goes, "That was mine." And he goes, "I don't care."
Yep. All right. So, do you want my review now?
Yeah, this movie, I was excited going into it, but
So, I expected this to be my favorite.
yeah, you
of
literally
them.
said this one's gonna be my favorite.
Yep. So my last line of this is, this movie was all the fun and dumb I wanted it to be, but I will say it had zero heart. They tried to put it in.
Yeah, and I feel like they were like forcing jokes just too much.
Yes, absolutely.
Like so much shit was throwing me out of the movie.
They could have
And
cut probably like a third of the jokes, and I would have liked it way better.
But here's what I'm thinking: like, as it's a spin-off, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
Fast and Furious universe. These characters are bad guys.
Yep.
But the acting and everything was still good.
Yes.
Compared to
and
like
the action was good.
That's why I was like
Better
'cause
than the first few.
better than 1 and 3 because the acting and terribleness of that threw me out of the movie. But it's hard, dude. This movie wasn't good.
So for me,
I feel like I was being generous with 6.
So I gave it a 6.5 because I did like the
Okay.
characters more.
Okay.
And so for me, it goes between 8 and 2
Okay.
because I feel like 2 didn't have the heart that like any of the heart.
So
that the
should
later
we
ones
do
do.
it? Give it a 6.25?
Sure, and let's see where it lies because I would go. So my number one still it says 5, but I feel like it's 7. I can't remember now.
7 and 5 we tied.
Yeah, because I feel like I would put 7 above it purely because of the impact, but also 5 has more of him.
And
in it.
5 I would
So good. So
5 is one I would rewatch, and it's the one of the series that I watched younger multiple times.
Sure, because I would go 5, 7, 4, 8. This 2, 6, 1, 3.
So with a 6.25,
Yes.
that puts this the third worst.
So
Because we gave Fast and Furious 1 and 3 a 4.
what did we give 6?
6 we gave a 6 we gave a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
So this is the fourth worst.
Okay, so according to our thing, it's behind 2. I'm okay
we
with that.
gave 2 we gave 2 a 6.5.
Okay.
Fast 8 a 6.75.
Well, Roman was incredible in 2, so I would believe.
I think now that I've been invested
Mm-hmm.
and seen what happens, and like I love Paul Walker now, I
Yep.
think I would. I mean, obviously we really like Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yep.
But I think I would like it even more, especially because I'm a big fan of Roman, obviously.
Yep, I agree.
But but ranking them in the order they came out is how it would have gone, and I feel like that's the way it should be.
Yes, so I am fine putting this right behind 2.
I wouldn't be shocked if 9's terrible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't be. I don't even want to watch it because like the cover, John Cena's on it. There's a on the cover. There's a photo of Han.
Yep,
What?
and he looks different, which means he
has
has to
short
be in
hair.
it. Do you remember when
What?
fucking Gal Gadot was in the credits and then she wasn't in the
It
movie?
was just a photo of her.
That's what the fuck.
I've heard rumors that in 9 they go to fucking space.
I can't remember if that was a joke or true.
I don't know. Every time I bring it up, someone laughs.
Yep.
And then they go, and I go, I haven't seen it yet. And they go, enjoy. And I think 9 is regarded as bad.
Okay, I believe it.
Because it's F9, and it's called the Complete Saga.
But
what does that even mean?
But they're making 10.
They're making X1 and 2. They're in pre-production of 11. What are... Oh, the series definitely peaked, and I was enjoying them, and now I'm like, oh, it's fucking work again.
Should have ended at 7.
And it felt like it was work at the beginning.
7 should have ended it.
I know.
Absolutely.
8 was enjoyable. This was fine.
But 7 should have stopped.
9's going to be a struggle bus, I feel like, to watch. But
Yeah.
we'll talk about that freaking next week. That was our review of freaking Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. Thanks for listening.
Hope you enjoyed it more than we enjoyed this film.
Talking about it was fun.
Yeah.
Because every time you talk about things, it is usually funner.
Because it's fun to like see how we saw it.
Yeah, and it is fun being like, oh, you like that? Or like, but also like yelling about the continuity errors and everything. But
And offering our
it
expertise.
sucks that I own it. But I'm going to keep it. I'm going to own them all just for the bit, but it will just be a movie that will never, it'll just stay where it is.
No, I mean,
I'll never watch this.
the only ones I want to watch again are probably 5, 7, and 4.
5, 7, 4, maybe 2 now because of Paul Walker. But yeah,
Okay.
5 and 7 are definitely top tier. Like I would watch those again. 7's incredible. It will make me cry every time.
No, 5 and 7. I
5 is the perfect fun movie. I feel
No.
like if you just want to put on this style
Yes.
of movie, which I'm normally not in the mood for.
right.
But if you want to,
Because after we do this, I would like to revisit some of these just to see how I feel now that I've seen
that would
everything.
be kind of fun. Big
Yep.
picture, like maybe a year out or something. We revisit.
Well, we should just do this every year. Watch all.
Oh my god! No, I'd go. It got worse. It got worse.
It started bad.
Tokyo Drift is terrible.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for listening. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Moist Monday Podcast. Send us an email, moistmondaypodcast@gmail.com. I really appreciate it. Let us know what you guys thought of Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw.
See you next week.
Yeah, get ready for F9.
Bye, guys.
Bye.